Go ahead and start the VOD recording over again. Sorry about the inconvenience there. Oh my good golly, Miss Molly, that was a thing that happened. So, let's go find the third treasure vault. Oh, good golly. So last time we were here, last time we found the second piece of gold, we were going about the country. We're leaving Zion National Park. The engine dies. I can still hear the power buzzing before it surges down, leaving us with the ambience of the settling motorhome.
We're here.
We are indeed here.
Not a lot of cars here, huh?
No way would there be cars at a place where treasure is.
Guess the rest of the world just hasn't caught up yet.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised people are going to the other treasure locations because no one knows we found the first two treasures. That won't last too long. Any day now, people will figure out it's here and an army of would-be treasure hunters will be swarming this place, drooling at the chance to find gold. The last of the gold. There's a fluttering in my chest, and I tighten my grip on the wheel. It's the end of our adventure.
I bet our names have spread across the land and struck fear into the hearts of our rivals, giving them no other choice but to call it quits.
Yes, others must know our names. They shall fear us. They shall know that we are as gods, as lords of gold.
Yeah. Or maybe someone already came through and found the treasure.
I mean, we have 2 boxes of gold. I think we're probably fine to just, pack it in. Each of us leaves with a box of gold and we're good for, the remainder of our lives.
Don't say something scary like that.
I'll say what I wish, Marina. You got half of my dreams and got into my car. Even though you're both 12. Still wrapped around the wheel, my clammy hands start shaking. Marina takes notice, looking over with sympathetic eyes.
Hey.
She takes her hand, gently places it on top of mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. I let both fall into my lap. She's warm. I desire her warmth. I shall absorb it into my own.
We're doing this together, okay?
Yes. The flutters tickle the inside of my chest until I cannot help smiling. I'm pretty sure it's a heart attack. I may be dying. I'm probably dying.
Right. Let's do it.
Regretfully, I force out a nod and pull my hand out from Marina's. It feels wrong, like throwing away a precious gift. Reaching in to the console, I retrieve the journal for what may be the last time. It's well loved, a bent spine, wrinkled pages, and folded corners on the flimsy paper cover. You've had it for a day and a half. Looking back, it's been getting roughed up since the moment we got it. Ever since that weird station attendant let Marina have it for free, way back at the travel store 2 days ago. Hard to believe this cheap thing was the roadmap to something so valuable. All of them? I'm gonna guess all of them, Pylon. Taking a deep breath, I skim over the final entry. After several days of travel, I believe we have finally arrived at my first destination. It is well known. I have an astute eye for locations. After all, this is how I found my precious bounty. So it is no mistake that I easily found the perfect hiding spot within this valley. I arrived on horseback at the blistering peak of noon. Looking for shelter for the coming night, I began noticing something different, something distinct. Crimson! All of it shades lighter than pink, darker than blood. The color stained from it, from giant unmovable stones to the tiniest grains of sand. It was as if the land had absorbed the sun's heat and reflected it outwards. Even at sunset, the cave I settled in emanated a bright red glow that speckled out from its opening. That night, as I laid on the ground, watching the flames of my fire shoot up for the cave's roof, I wondered if there were more places like this out in the unsettled land. During my travels on the trail, I was too preoccupied with preparations to observe the world around me. But now that I have achieved success, maybe I shall. It would be a shame if my superb observational skills went to waste.
Windstone Arch.
It's probably the vaguest entry so far, but I can feel it. It has to be there. I slap the journal shut, lay it to rest in the center console, right next to all the cassette tapes. Because I am not like other girls. Marina and I look at each other, now sharing the same piercing determination. though I wish to pierce her in other ways. It's an AI. The sole purpose is to generate fake speed paints of any image, so one of the methods people use to prove something was made by humans being threatened. Oh, delightful! That's delightful. AI art is not art, it is just theft. This is why, remember children, if you steal from a corporation, you have not committed theft, you've committed reclamation. So, reclaim all you can, children, reclaim all you can, and this is why no one at work knows my Twitch username.
Alright, let's get this show on the road.
Okay. Now to be sassy outside. Because of the lack of crowds, getting around is a lot easier than usual, allowing us to take in the scenery for once instead of slogging through zombified hordes. They try to bite us, you see. Bite us with their mouths! What else would they bite us with, Gnome? I don't know! Even though there's not many people around, it somehow feels fuller here. And I think we had audio problems. I think I might know what happened. Because my cats decided to... I used a USB splitter that turned one USB port into 4. And I think one of the cats was biting the hell out of it. So I had to switch where all the USB inputs were. And so the computer got confused and angry at me. Everywhere we walk, we're surrounded by layered dunes and soundstones towering over us, stripped with faded reds and calico browns. Somehow we do eventually manage to find the Windstone Arch. Unlike the arches back in Utah, it isn't big and majestic. It's not a giant upside-down horseshoe that lords over us as we look on in awe. That's why I had to punch it, and that is why my hand is broken. And that is why I need all of this C4. It's not even an arch as much as a cave. Really, just a jagged overgrown rock with a few crevices big enough for a person to enter. That's why I like it. It doesn't put on airs. It doesn't try to think it's better than me. Fucking rocks think they're better than me. Still, despite this, despite the fact that it doesn't compare the size of grandeur of anything else we've seen together so far, despite that it hardly took us any time at all to find it, it's still imposing. The longer I stare at it, the bigger it gets, like it's judging us. It is calling into question our abilities, or even if we can find it. It's gauging us to see if we are ready. Are we? Are we? I look over to Marina. A small bulge forms in her throat before she swallows it back down. Is she? I return my gaze to the arch, asking the same questions over and over in my head. Am I? Finally, we look to each other. Marina readies the metal detector strapped to her back, that we did not animate or draw, and gives me a nod, which I return. Even if we aren't ready, even if this is the worst mistake of my life, this is something both of us have to do. Our steps in sync, we march over the rocks and desert shrubs before crouching into the cavern. Sunlight squeezes into the cave, dyeing the rock columns neon red. Marina begins scanning with the metal detector, listening intently for a beep. Beepity beep beep. Beep beep. The narrow space forces us to huddle together as we heave our way through the arch, heaving about, repeatedly brushing against each other. Oh my. At first, it's accidental, but I find myself craving it more, which you cannot tell by my unimpressed expression. To get closer. I'm a sex pest, you see. To feel her. To watch as her hair absorbs the brilliant glow of the cave. I'm deprived of all of that, though, as her metal detector vibrates in her hand, making a low rumble. She takes off the headphones and points to the wall. There. What? Oh, yes, we're looking for gold. Yes. We're looking for gold, not that booty. I avert my gaze and move past her, taking a knee as I slip my bag off my shoulder and pull out a mandrill pickaxe. Careful not to hit her as I start chiseling away at the rock. Soon the crack in the wall grows, and small pebbles and gravel start flying off. I reposition myself, and I block Marina from getting hit by any of it, because I am the strong one, and I must protect her because of reasons. Because, of course, in any piece of gay fiction, we have to really have, we have to, for some reason, put in this weird gender crap about how there's the big strong one and then the weak little one who's kind of needs to be protected by the big strong one because, Oh, thank you. Small portion of the wall crumbles away and leaves a hollow space just big enough to squeeze your hand into. It's full of scorpions. This is gonna suck if some creepy thing's gone and made its home in there. Shuddering, I reach into space. I feel something square and wooden with some budging. It comes free and easily slides out. Box. Familiarity is expected, but it doesn't stop my heart from leaping any less. No Marina's, who squeaks out a gasp. I can see into her heart, you see. It's a mutant power nobody wants, because really, hearts are gross.
Ready?
This time she barely nods, and I will take that as high praise, Evie. I take that as high praise, my friend. Thank you. This time she barely nods, unsure of what to say, but like ripping off a bandage, I swing the lid open before she can give any real answer. Nuggets. A pile of them, filled from top to bottom. Aw. Yay! It's the first A+ I've ever gotten because I was a lazy student. Well, not really lazy, it's just, it's part of the whole educational process where it was back in the day where we didn't really have good special ed. So, a pile of them, filled from top to brim, all misshapen and morphed. The sight isn't anything new, but this time it feels different. Yeah, fair enough. But this time it feels different. It's not like for the first time. The reality's finally sunk in, and everything up until now has been a haze. We both just stare at it. An entire universe of thoughts race through my mind, yet it all comes up blank.
What now?
It's directed more towards myself than Marina. But for the first time I managed to spit out, and ultimately the most important. Marina doesn't answer at first. Instead, she's just tilting her head, trying to process the question. But finally she gives a simple smile.
I saw a sign for a trail on the way over here. Why don't we go hiking?
She saw the sign, and it opened up her mind. She saw great, another cease and desist letter. Hiking? I freeze for a second, then laugh under my breath. The more I think about the simplicity behind her words, the more I laugh, until I border on sounding like a hysterical mad person.
Hiking? For real?
I keep laughing, struggling to keep together, even after I start having trouble breathing. Poor Marina isn't in on the joke, though. With a matter of seconds, her face goes from confusion to concern, then pouting.
I don't know why you're laughing. I was being serious,
Yes, you were, dear heart, and that's why it's funny. Settling down, I wipe a fake tear from my eye. An occasional chuckle still managing to break through.
No, I know you were.
Then what's so funny?
You.
Nothing, just...
I finally regain my complete composure and smile at her.
Yeah, sure. Let's go hiking. That sounds nice.
Yes.
Can you please keep to the signs?
No, not at all.
I will. Stop being such a worrywart.
I worry how you function, lady. I actually kind of am concerned how, I'm impressed that you got to adulthood. Semi-adulthood. 18 is not really an adult. If you're 18, I don't mean to offend you, but you're still a kiddo as far as I'm concerned. Basically because I'm an old man and I want to somehow still feel relevant because I'm desperately grasping to my youth like an absolute lunatic, like a limpet trying desperately to seem relevant and not like a burnt out, sad little old man who's just screaming into the void constantly. Yay, sadness! Marina skips through the sand, gleefully oblivious that her trail is badly marked patch of dirt of the plains of the Mojave, where she may find the courier.
That's what you said last time. If you're not careful, we're gonna get lost. Again.
Aw, you didn't like those old cabins we found?
No, not at all. They were full of spiders.
It gets old after the second time, Mare.
It kills daylight, too. The sun has faded to an orange, and will soon sink out of view. There's no way we're getting back before dark. But hey, maybe that's not such a bad thing. We've already found the treasure, so spending some time with Marina is a nice reward.
So, about this firewave thing.
Yes, I will take you to Fire Island. It is the...
And yes, I know it's not an ocean of lava, smarty pants.
It really is, kinda. Damn, I must be running out of material.
I mean, it's so cool. Well, it's hot, I guess. But what is it?
It's like the fire caves in Deep Space Nine. There will be a paw race in there who will try to devour your very soul. And they will basically turn us into evil monsters who will try to overthrow the Bajorans.
What's the fire wave? It's a, windy thing that winds around rocks and stuff and looks like fire.
Very astute, Amber. Very astute.
At least, I think that's what it was.
Oh?
Images made with AI can't call themselves drawings, paintings, special photos, because it's not real since they don't actually do any of those actions. Like a sculpture, draw like human skin. Yeah, AI art, I don't think, should never be called art. It's basically just a bunch of computer science majors who made a spreadsheet and are trying desperately to cut out any of the liberal arts majors because we made fun of them for them not being able to understand to not being able to understand the cool science fiction that they were all into. Because we sat there and poked holes and were like, haha, isn't this silly? You know, this message really kind of doesn't really work with the series and da-da-da-da-da. And so we kind of ruined a lot of things for them, and now this is their revenge. Basically, sorry, STEM majors, that we were mean to you in college, but now you're just trying to destroy our careers, and you're doing it poorly. You're showing that, once again, we beat you in artistic things. So, eh. A devilish grin slinks onto Marina's face as she attaches herself like Velcro, nudging my shoulders.
You don't know what it is either, do you?
No, I have no idea.
What? Do so.
Her grin grows until I force myself to look away. She's not going to get the satisfaction.
I've seen pictures.
I have. I've seen all the pictures.
Oh,
and I've taken
you've seen
pictures.
Pictures? What sort of pictures?
I've seen pictures I've taken of you when you're sleeping and don't know I'm there. Oh, fuck, I really am a sex pest.
You know, the picture-y kind.
The one with film. I can just feel her reveling in this. For the first time, she's got me playing right into her hands.
Oh, shut up.
Never! I feel a slap against my wrist, then a tug. Looking down, I see Marina's bright dimples shining through her round cheeks.
Why don't we find out together?
Very cool. I'm stunned. It's a position we've been in before, but it's supposed to be the other way around. I'm always pulling her. That's my job. But now it's her smooth fingers locked around my wrist, her fingernails grazing above my skin. The realization doesn't even have time to sink in before she propels herself forward, with me in tow.
Hey, wait! Hold on!
I kick up sand and grit as I'm practically dragged along by Marina, who meets my yelp with silence. Then she halts as quickly as she takes off, leaving me to shoot forward and stumble to a stop.
You could have at least warned me before ya...
I go silent. Marina does too. The fire wave. Swirling ribbons of red wrap around the hillside and stretch out toward the horizon. The setting sun casts light in the shadow across the ground and sky, shading it with all the intense golds, pinks, and purples. This is where I shall stake out my foes. For any belief that I should not be in control of the world, I hope that the great fire orb burns it out of them. As the sky dims, a shred of stray light passes over shade and shines directly on us. Directly on Marina. She stares on, silent. I can feel every glint of emotion coming from her. Every breath taken away. Because every breath she takes, every move she makes, I've been right there watching her. And that is why the judge is very interested in my whereabouts. And very interested about what facility I get placed in. Every raw feeling that builds up inside her, only to be choked back down. All of it. I glance between her and the scene stretched out before us. The pockets of sky with their deep, vivid colors are beautiful, but the choice is easy. I fixate on Marina. Her clear, sweet blue eyes. Her cute, round cheeks. Her lips as they quiver ever so slightly. Fucking kiss her already! God damn it! Laying a hand on her shoulder, I turn her towards me and softly touch her cheek. Her mouth slides open, a faint gasp, but all it takes is a gentle stroke of her face for that uncertainty to be wiped away. Marina holds my gaze. My eyes relax as I step closer so I can feel the warmth of her body against mine. Then I lean in and press my lips to hers. So soft. I keep myself pressed against her, letting my lips move with the natural flow. Fucking finally, you two have been dancing around each other, but you both have no washing machine in that RV, so I'm really kind of worried and concerned about how you both smell. Like, that's a concern I have, but you know what? Go off. Go off, girls. But she doesn't press back. Afraid, I pull away before I can step back. She pulls me closer and lets her lips melt into mine. We are now joined at the lips. It is kind of terrifying. We have to find a knife. I let the pattern take control. Our mouths move inside each other, full of tender caution as we ease in. We repeat the process infinitely, bathed in the light of the sunset. The two of us exchange something. I eventually pull back, unsure of what to say, and scared of what I could. We turn back to find the last rays of sunlight slipping behind the sand. Something brushes against my hand, tickling me for a moment, before entwining between my fingers. Her grip is loose, but I wrap my fingers around so I'm holding her firmly, so she cannot escape. We watch the last of the light drift into the peaceful evening. Together.
It's pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they have 3 containers of gold. So they really are gold star lesbians. Ba-boom tish. Oh God. Why? What have I done? Her back is turned to me, like mine is to hers. I claw my nails deeper into the scratchy couch fabric and stick my gaze onto the floor. Dude, you made out on a mountainside. Why are you still being, does she like me? Does she really like me? Will do, Effie. You have yourself a lovely evening, okay? And message me if you need me to. Like, honestly, this is... Although, to be fair, I do have a couple lesbian friends, and what's hilarious is, like, I've talked to some of them, and this is going to sound insane, but there have been times where it's been, you know, oh, we live together, but we're just friends. Oh, we sleep together, but we're just friends. And the other one is just like, dude, I'm about to propose to you, and you don't know we're dating? What is happening? Although part of that is also the fact that, you know, the best joke I was ever told by a lesbian was, hey, what does a lesbian bring on her second date? A U-Haul? Please, end me now. It was silent after we did that. Nice silence. A blissful release of silence. But as we walked back, terror started to sink in. I think she felt it too. People could take the visuals of sounds from the imagination element of the image and sound file. Of course, not everyone can visualize the same degree. Some men would look like splotches of colors, but I think that would be kind of cool. Just kind of like connect your brain. I could see that, you know, being aggressively cool. Being able to directly translate one-to-one. Although I would be very worried. Like, there would be some really cool art that would come of that, I think. Some really cool abstract stuff, because I don't know how it would translate between, like, subconscious and conscious control. Be kind of cool to figure out. So I buzz the generator and stare at a patch of artificial light on the wall. Stupid little box is making fun of me, I swear.
So, what now?
Well, you already got out of my dreams and into my car, so I've never really gone much farther in the dream than that. Funny, that's the same thing I asked when we found the treasure, except she sounds even more hopeless and confused than I did. Bringing my legs to my chest, I bundle my arms around them and put on a nervous smirk.
We could always go hiking again.
Ooh. She throws a mock slap at my shoulder, feigning a huffy voice.
You would like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would aggressively like that. I'd like that very much. The heavy embarrassment in the air melts away into something a little more comfortable as we both manage to laugh at my perviness. What is wrong now, Marina? Have you devolved further into childishness? Marina lets out a whiny cry and slides across the couch.
But seriously, what are we gonna do?
Well, we have gold, we have an RV, there's a big old concert thing. So we've kind of got a ton of money and an ability to just kind of go around the world.
About what?
About everything.
We split the money, and you move into my RV. This is your home now. You are one with me.
Treasure, home,
This is your home now.
us.
My heart tightens like she's squeezing it.
Did you not?
No, I did. I do.
Good. You are now my road wife. RV law.
I just don't know.
I am captain of this RV. That means I can marry people if I choose. She turns to meet me, her eyes bleeding like she's looking for answers. There's no doubt I'm responsible for those eyes. Feeling a fierce sense of responsibility, I shoot up and march to the center console.
Amber?
Hold on.
I open the console, but don't bother digging around. I know exactly what these are. 2 irreplaceable pieces of paper. Stopping in front of the couch, my voice darkens.
I'll be using my half of the treasure to pay for Gramps' hospital and funeral expenses. But before I do that, I still need to go to the music festival.
I offer her one of the tickets. Unsure, she gently tugs it from my hand and begins reading.
If you want to, you can go with me. Might give you a little extra time to think about things.
My voice softens.
About everything.
The festival?
Yes.
Me?
Yes!
Up to you, babe.
'Cause I've got you, babe. Got another cease and desist, goddamn. I flop back on the couch and hold the ticket over my eyes to block out the light.
Oh?
Yes, this is a date. Oh crap. She peels the ticket off halfway and peeks through, revealing an amused grin.
So I'm babe now, huh?
You have been in my brain. On her hands and knees, Marina crawls ever so closer, where I scramble to turn and hide my face.
Shut up. It was an accident.
And now I'm back to where I started, mortified and embarrassed.
Amber?
Yes? Her voice is like a melody.
Shut up.
Amber.
Yes?
I said shut up.
Oh, Amber.
Yes?
What?
A tank engine plows into my back, followed by soft, gentle arms wrapping around my neck as she rests her head against
Thank
mine.
you.
You're welcome. My shoulders relax, embracing her. I turn and rest my head on hers, too. A head sandwich.
Sure thing, kiddo.
Once we're quiet, the awkwardness sets in again, where I don't know if I should be saying something to fill the silence, or if I should leave it be. Is she thinking the same thing? Is she also worried? I sneak glances after worried glance down, but I can't see her face. Her hands wander around like she doesn't know what to do. She touches her face, scratches her leg, picks at a fold in her shirt, pops her knuckles. She is so nervous.
Hey.
The top of her head bumps against my chin as she flinches.
Hey.
You good?
She's never really super good. Like, I'm very concerned that she's somehow survived to adulthood.
Yeah.
You don't seem good.
No, I am sorry. I'm just...
Rather than hurry her along like I sometimes do, I wait for her to find the words.
just worried, I guess. I know you have, but I've never had a girlfriend before.
Oh, I've never had a girlfriend either. I start to say something, but she hurriedly cuts me off.
I don't mean it like that. Well, I do, but I've also never had a boyfriend before. Not a real one, anyway.
Yeah, you're 18. I'm pretty sure you've never done a lot of things.
You had a fake boyfriend, though?
Barely. Like, in middle school, there was this guy who asked if I'd be his girlfriend, and I said okay. But then the next day, he said his mom told him he wasn't allowed to have a girlfriend, so we broke up.
Oh god, middle school. Basically, if anyone enjoyed their middle school life, no you didn't. You're lying to me, because no one enjoyed middle school. It was a hellscape for all of us, because basically you've trapped a bunch of people with just starting at the cusp of a massive hormone dump, and their body just kind of going, I'm going to change on you in about 1,012 different ways, all within the course of about, 15 minutes. Good fucking luck with that. And we filled that with, like, maybe 3 teachers, a counselor if you're lucky and live in a city with a population of more than 50,000, and maybe a principal who is drunk before noon. And the parents don't have time. The teacher doesn't have time because they're busy doing their homework, reading yours. So you are cut loose in the American system without really a keeper. And and now we've basically gone and decided, hey, you know all those third spaces that my generation grew up with? You know, parks, libraries, little cafes where you could just sit and have a cup of tea and maybe a plate of fries with your friends for a couple hours. Those don't exist anymore. And if they do, in a highly diminished capacity. And they're basically for nostalgia for people my age. So kids are just fucking cut loose in this nowhere land. And we're all doomed. We're all basically doomed. Sorry, we've made a hash of it. I hope that when the next revolution comes, and I'm basically killed in a way that will confuse future archaeologists, I know my place, I know what's going to happen to me, that you build a society that's better. Or the rats do, because I'm pretty sure it's either going to be rats or spiders that take over the planet after the great apes just fuck off. And I'm sure you're all gonna do fine, because because if I may in your language, squeak squeak, squeak and squeak squeak 'em.
Sounds brutal.
Right? And then junior year of high school, I kind of dated this guy for like a month, but I didn't really like him. My friends just wanted me to.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the asexual dating method of just kind of like, you get kind of torn along in just kind of a wave of like somebody else's demands. It's kind of aggravating.
That's screwed up.
It's how I almost married my ex before we broke up, because she was not sane. How speaking, dare you say that about my mother? I said what I said! But fine, I apologize if you were offended, Bylon. There, I've now apologized like a Republican member of Congress.
I don't know, not really. They weren't trying to be mean or anything, and he wasn't a bad person. He was just boring.
Yeah, men can be very boring.
Like, for our first date, we went to dinner and a movie. But dinner was just fast food, and he spilled ketchup all over himself.
Heh.
And I don't even remember what movie we saw. He put his arm around the back of my chair, and I thought he was trying to put his arm around me, so I kind of got closer, but nope. He just kept it there.
Oh, men are terrible.
Like he was just stretching.
She giggles at the memory.
Honestly, I'd forgotten about all that until now. That's how not a real boyfriend he was.
Heh.
What about you?
I'm glad that right now things seem normal. Maybe if she's talking, she forgets about being worried.
Well, I've never had a boyfriend.
Marina punches me in the shoulder.
You know what I meant. I could have guessed that much.
Yes, by my haircut.
Hey now, I'm just being clear. But yeah, I've had other girlfriends.
Isn't it bad manners to talk about this, especially early in the relationship? No, talking about your past and kind of being honest about who you are, it really depends on getting on, the relationship itself. And I think she kind of needs to be reassured that you kind of know what you're doing, because she's terrified that she's going into this world kind of like she's finding out a bit more about who she is, and she's kind of panicking, like, oh god, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Please, fucking someone be my guide. She asked, though.
They counted, though it wasn't really anything serious either. By the time I was old enough for a serious relationship, I was too busy with taking care of Gramps to focus on one.
Also, I kind of have to think she's also probably very worried. Is she just being swept along by somebody who, might know more about themselves than she knows about her? So that's probably something she's a little bit concerned about, so needing a little bit of reassurance. She's kind of a puppy in human form.
But at least no one's mom ever told them they had to break up with me.
Listen, it was hard when I was 12.
Yeah, life is very hard when you're 12. It's
for like a day or two.
I'll bet. Anyway,
you're both still 12.
There was this girl I was with through a chunk of high school. We broke up in junior year, I think. She wanted to focus on school. She ended up getting a full ride to a nice college, so I guess she made the right call.
Aww. Marina doesn't miss a beat.
Nah, it was her loss.
Damn right. I shift to free my arm that's pressed against Marina's side, and instead wrap it around her. At first I can feel her tense up, but she gradually relaxes, until most of her weight rests on me, which is fucking painful. Especially when they are tiny and made of sharp edges.
So, Amber?
She doesn't answer.
Mare?
Sorry, never mind.
No, be honest with me. Like, speak about your needs. Always, if you don't think you can speak honestly about your feelings and your needs in a relationship, then it's a bit of a red flag. So always feel you can speak and share your heart and your mind with your partner. Unless that partner isn't safe. And then if they aren't safe, then you shouldn't be with them. She looks up and smiles at me, and I smile back. Maybe it's better not to think too much right now, or ask too many questions. It's just the two of us being happy with each other, not minding that we're both sweaty. Kind of gross right now, because we don't have a shower in this RV. Well, we haven't eaten in hours. Or so I think. It isn't long before she yawns and looks up at me apologetically.
Oops.
It's okay. I'm kind of tired too.
In fact, I'm too excited still, but I don't want her to feel bad about going to bed. Plus, we did a lot of hiking today. I unwind my arm from around her and switch which hand holds hers, so that we can stand up. She's fidgety again, shifting her weight from foot to foot. Well, I guess it'll take some getting used to for both of us. I let go of her hand, it falls limply back to her side, like she's lost control of it. Looking at me in the eye, I can tell she's waiting for me to do or say something. I take a step towards her, closing the short distance between us.
Good night.
Kiss her, you fool! Kiss her! And then I lean in and kiss her again. Briefly, enough she doesn't even really have time to react before I pull away. She blinks twice, then rubs her lips and smiles.
Good night.
She walks backwards away from me, still smiling, and I'm grinning like an idiot too, of course. I'm tempted, so tempted to invite her to sleep in my bed, just to be close to her still. But I don't, since she's still nervous and unsure. I don't want to make that harder for her. That's actually really, 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 really reasonable. By the way, visual and other kinds of imagination is still something that can be worked on and trained. I've been trying for I know, and only a little bit of progress, but I can imagine the taste of ketchup now. Awesome! You're making progress. Proud of you. Proud of you, buddy. Keep on working. You're doing fantastic. I lick my lips and go to turn off the lights, still tasting the sweetness of her on them. As I climb into bed, listening for the sounds of her breathing, I don't expect to get much sleep of my own tonight. Sleeping on it is supposed to help you with tough decisions, or with big changes, but that's hard when you can't pass out in the first place. Thoughts of Marina, and of Gramps, and of things changing, and of things staying the same, all brewed together to keep me awake, just like the coffee is right now. When I got up this morning, the first thing I felt was surprise that I'd managed to fall asleep at all. The 3 hours that I got must have snuck up on me. I drain another cup of coffee, number 4, and the last one from this pot. I dump another few scoops of ground into the coffee maker and start a new batch. I go to see the sunrise, which I usually sleep through. Out here in the middle of nowhere with no light pollution, the sky was vivid. Shards of jagged pink tearing into the blue, biting into the masculine. I nearly dozed off again, just watching. Maybe someday I'll get to watch it with Marina. Someday when I wake up early enough. Early again, and if she manages to get her lazy ass out of bed. Lazy, but cute. Yesterday's events replay in my mind for the umpteenth time, and with them come the swirl of emotions that feel like a stomachache and a high both at once. Things finally starting to feel normal between us again. Kissing Marina at the Valley of Fire! Her leaning into it, wondering if I should stop. Her not letting me. Sitting close on the couch, not asking questions, not answering them either, wondering if I should, or even could. Ugh, it's too early for this shit. The familiar ping of the coffee maker tells me that I've been zoned out for a few minutes now. Smashing my fists into my eyes, I try to rub the sleepiness out. Movements from the back of the RV means that I must have woken Marina up. I can hear the sound of her bed creaking, and the covers being thrown back. I feel a strange, nervous elation as she appears in the hallway looking bedraggled, and a shirt that brands her as mine.
Good morning.
She groans like a zombie and stumbles toward
Want
me.
some coffee?
A stiff head nod. Smiling, I prepare her a cup. It's only half coffee. The other half is a boatload of sugar and a creamer that neither Gramps nor I ever drank. I don't even know why we had it. It's not expired, because it doesn't expire. When she reaches me, Marina leans into me, sort of falls, really crashing against my shoulder.
Hey, careful!
A bit of coffee sloshes out of her mug and onto my hand, but I don't mind. She takes a drink and a couple small sips. She wants snuggles! Snuggle your puppy! Mina Bliss replaces her glazed expression.
Good?
Good.
There's hardly any coffee in it, you know.
Just the way I like it.
If you don't like coffee, don't drink coffee. I wonder if she had a hard time falling asleep like I did, but I'm hesitant to ask. Afraid she'd say no. Afraid she'd say yes. So we just sit down and she takes a spot next to me. We both quietly sip our coffee as she rejoins the land of the living. Once she finishes her first cup, she's alert enough for
Sleep
conversation.
okay?
I figure that's safer than flat out asking.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda.
I like...
She trails off. Maybe I gave her alertness too much credit.
I forgot what I was just saying.
Yeah, that's fair. Mornings suck. I laugh and stand up.
Don't worry about it.
Marina mumbles something incoherent.
What was that?
She clears her throat.
Sorry, I asked if you slept alright.
No, not at all.
Took me a while to fall asleep, but after that, yeah.
It's not strictly a lie. Eyes half closed, Marina smiles thinly.
Good.
I turn around so that she doesn't see how preoccupied I am. Well, guess what's on my mind? Whatever it is I'm dealing with, it's not her problem. I don't want her to worry about me. The floor creaks and Marina stands up too, but I don't face her.
So, where are we going today?
Oh, California.
No idea. We have a few days before the show. Anything you want to see?
Whatever it is, I'll make the trip.
We're not very far from Las Vegas, right?
Neither of us can drink or gamble.
Not at all. It's just a couple hours.
Let's go there!
Why? Finally, I meet her eyes again. The smile on her face is pure and earnest. I can't help but return
that
it.
sounds like fun.
And she hugs me. Her warm figure is pressed close against mine. She smells like my shampoo. I wrap my arms around her and hold her close. Just for a second, everything feels right, like it's all gonna work out. And I realize how badly I want it to. I squeeze tight and then pull away.
What was that for?
Just felt like it.
Yaw. She's a snuggler. Warwick creases her face.
Should I not?
No.
Nah, you definitely should. Go get dressed and I'll get us on the road. You cool with waiting to eat until we get there?
Yeah.
Cool. There are a million buffets and exotic restaurants there, so we can find something good.
I can maybe even find a sushi place where they will cover you with sushi for my delight. No. Keep that thought silent, Amber.
I like
God, that's
Las
creepy.
Vegas
That
already.
is incredibly creepy.
Dork.
I gently push her toward the back to get ready. She sticks her tongue over her shoulder as she goes. Watching, I rub my temple before climbing to the front seat. I'm looking forward to this, and I know Marina is too. So why does it feel like I'm doing something wrong? God damn your fucking angst, Amber. God damn it. For a long moment, I just pressed my forehead against the steering wheel, not thinking of anything. The sound of Marina's approaching footsteps make me sit up, and I put on a smile as she hops into her spot.
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go then.
And we head out towards the highway. Las Vegas appears on the horizon far before we actually reach it. Clusters of generic skyscrapers are interspaced with world-famous casinos, which come in many shapes and sizes, all of which we are not allowed to enter. Some are indistinguishable from the tall banks and offices around them, except for gaudy logos and signs. Others are constructed to look like a pyramid, or a Roman palace, or a medieval castle. There's a distinct clash where some buildings are striking and clean-looking, as if they'd just been completed yesterday. 19 and 18. So they are adults. They're just not legally allowed to drink in the United States. So they're allowed to enter the casinos. They're allowed to be in there and just kind of hang out, but they're not allowed to go to any of the bars. So... And... I may joke about it, but, like, finding any... Like, I don't understand the attraction that men have towards... that people have towards 18-year-olds, because they're still kids. They're still kids. Basically, I have a... It makes me really uncomfortable when people are like, ooh, she just turned 18. Like, fucking, dude, you're 40. Yeah. But then, besides them, will be a sad-looking place with faded paint and signs that aren't supposed to be flickering. As we entered the city limits, it was suddenly surrounded by the noise of the traffic and the smell of exhaust. Exiting the highway was like crossing the boundary to another world. Marina drinks it all in.
Oh, what's that one? The super tall one.
We call that the sky, Piercer. She points through the windshield, even though it's impossible to follow her finger. I know which one she's talking about.
That's the stratosphere. I think it's one of the tallest buildings in the country.
Whoa.
We're still miles out, but she already seems to be infatuated with the city. Her eyes are wide, and so is her
It's even
mouth.
cooler up close.
I never knew cities could be this huge.
I keep forgetting that she's never been out of New Mexico. Sure, there are a couple decently sized cities there, but nothing this impressive. Also, Las Vegas is not totally impressive. It's mostly just kind of normal city, except when you hit except near the Strip and around the Strip. So, like, for a couple blocks, it's really fancy and really big, but outside of that, it's kind of just mundane city. It looks like any other city. I'm excited for her to experience all of this for the first time.
Honestly, Las Vegas is kind of on the small side, at least compared to places like New York or Chicago.
Seriously? That's insane. I can't imagine that many people in one place.
What about your house?
Fair enough. She giggles.
That's pretty close.
She reminds me of a puppy straining against its leash as she whips between looking out the windshield and out the passenger side window. To me, the part of the city that we're in looks like any other downtown area, so I'm not impressed. Once we get to the Strip, where all the really famous casinos are located, it will be different. But first, I have another destination in mind.
So, Mare,
Yeah?
ever heard of the World Carnival Buffet at the Rio?
Oh, damn, you're taking her somewhere where she is going to flip her mind out.
I don't think so. Should I?
Yes, you really should have. It's a place I want to go to before I die. Because the food is insane.
Well, if you like food, it's pretty much the greatest place on Earth. They have, like, everything imaginable to eat, and lots of stuff that you can't imagine either.
Dude, they have... If it's the place I'm thinking of, they have bone marrow that is supposed to be so delicious that you will legit just melt in your chair. Somehow her eyes get even wider.
I want to try it all.
Wow! They found a way for me to identify with this character. Basically, food is magic. I think because I'm Ace, all of the feelings that were supposed to be directed towards wanting to, like, be with people physically got shifted into me wanting to eat. And eat new and weird things. Like, this is gonna sound insane, but bone marrow is easily one of the most delicious things I've ever eaten. I love it to death, and just, like, I will try anything once.
Pretty sure you'll change your mind when you see some of it. But that's the spirit.
Are we going there now?
Yes, we are.
Hell yeah, we are. I'm starving.
That's why one of my favorite places to eat will always be a Brazilian grill, because basically it's just a buffet where they're like, here, we're bringing this meat to your table. Here are a couple slices. Yes.
Me too.
She grabs my free hand, the one that isn't on the steering wheel. My heart leaps to my throat. Since we're at a red light, I catch her eye and she smiles, though her face is a little red. I smile back, but then face forward. Our hands hang limply between our seats. It isn't long before our palms are moist with sweat. I don't know whose. Her hand is so soft, like she treats it with lotion or something, but I know that's not the case. Smooth, like a baby's. That's disturbing. I don't like that. It makes me a little self-conscious of my chewed fingernails and chronically dry skin. Worried that I'm going to gross her out, or she'll pull away or something.
Is this okay?
Huh?
Maybe I was getting a little too distracted.
Is what?
She rages linked hands. One anime called Fire Force that claims the main characters went through complete schooling, Fire Force training. It's anything and absence of the timeline for that would make them at least 20 based on the amount of schooling claims yet. 100%, I'm right there with you. It's one of those things that I kind of hate a lot in media, is that everyone is supposed to be super young in the fictional works. Like, it's why I couldn't get into Bones, because everyone's supposed to be like have all these amazing doctorates, and it's like, yes, I'm 25 and I have 3 doctorates, and I'm like, fuck you, you do. It is okay for there to be characters who are in their 30s or in their 40s and be considered and be main characters. You can have people who are adult ages. Because I honestly think that is what has begun our culture's, like, absolute obsession with youth, and, like, the creepiness of, like, adults kind of prowling schoolyards to find their new girlfriend, is that we have had in fiction all of these kids who are played by who are either, like, drawn to have a very adult features in the case of anime and cartoons, or, like, live action shows where they are where they're like people in their 30s and 40s playing people in their 20s or teens. And it's made people think, oh, well, these people are, subconsciously, so this is what a 20-year-old is supposed to look like. And it's like a 35-year-old woman. And or who's had like no, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, I hate the fetishization of youth. I hate the belief that, children are the most attractive and the most fertile and the most wonderful. It's like, no, they're kids. Let them fucking be kids. They don't, just because she's 18 does not mean that she is now, you have to, like, that she's perfect age to be your girlfriend. Let her be a child. Let her make mistakes. Let her grow. You weird assholes. She raises all linked hands.
This. You just seemed kinda... Like, I mean, I cannot if you...
Amber, your anxiety is infectious, dear.
No, it's fine. Seriously.
I'm talking louder than I need to. Flustered as I try to backpedal. She doesn't look convinced.
Sorry, I'm still... not really...
It's fine. You're fine, really. I'm the one who should be sorry. I'm not usually this weird in a relationship.
Now she looks almost offended. Crap.
Not like that. I just mean...
A blaring honk from behind reminds me I'm sitting at a green light. The middle of traffic isn't the best place for conversation. Breathing deeply as we pull ahead, I try to collect my thoughts.
Sorry, again. I just have a lot on my mind. Because I like you. I really do. You know that really freaking well by now.
She smiles, though she's still looking down, as our hands are still together. This is such an awkward time and place to be talking like this.
So it's my bad if I'm being weird or whatever. But being with a girl I met on the side of the road is a new one. Even for me, you know?
Oh, like your most experienced dating person. Finally, she laughs.
Yeah, I guess it's a little weird.
I feel I can still hear a slight quiver in her voice, but I might be imagining it. So I squeeze her hand tightly. Immediately, she squeezes back. I only have a vague idea of the direction I need to be driving. Fortunately, it isn't too long until the Rio comes into view, looming large a few miles away. We pull into a parking lot near the back, where the only open spaces are left. It's pleasantly warm outside. I've heard stories of people's shoes melting on the asphalt during the summer, but for now the weather is perfect. Oh yeah, that's one other thing. Fucking Nevada can be stupidly hot during the summer. As we cross through the parking lot towards the casino, Marina takes my hand yet again. I can feel my heart rate accelerate, but I squeeze her fingers all the same. The first few steps inside are a sensory overload. A million different sounds and a billion different delights, all pull from the sea of slot machines. Even at lunchtime on a Thursday, the majority are occupied. We both take a second, frozen in place, to try and process it all. This isn't even my first time in a casino, and I'm still overwhelmed, just like Marina is. I can see the reflections of a game in her eyes, like a cartoon character thinking of money.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Is this one of the most popular casinos?
Not even close. Like, it's big, but it's not the biggest.
You guys probably want to offload the gold at some point, because you just have gold in an RV, which is not designed to be super secure.
Whoa.
I tug her forward.
Come on, we'll have tons of time to gawk with food in our stomachs.
The mention of food steadies her steps. Giant overhead signs direct the way to the buffet. They must be visible from any part of the building. If this place is famous for something besides the food, I don't know what it is! We can smell it before we can see it. Even despite the stench of cigarettes and BO, they are pretty strong here. It doesn't smell like any one particular food item, but rather lots and lots of them. Guided by our stomachs, we half run towards the buffet. The line to get in is small. Since we got here so early, Marina hops on down, trying to peek over the head of the bald guy in front of us.
Can you see anything?
Barely. It looks like it goes on forever.
Pretty much does, like it's an infinite line of food.
Good.
I practically throw my card at the attendant. It reminds me of paying attention to an amusement park, and I'm just as excited. We're let through a small gate and into heaven. Rows upon rows of stations form a small maze in the massive room. Deep bins of food, fried, or grilled, or baked, or roasted, fill nearly every inch of space in each station. Rena and I grab plates from the tall stacks nearby.
Meet you in the dining room?
She nods, already distracted, and heads straight for the desserts. I load my plate with a slice of prime rib, 2 rolls, a scoop of mashed potatoes. I pour gravy over them, letting it run down and soak into everything else. For a good measure, I also throw on a pair of chicken wings from a nearby basket. They're so fresh, I can see the steam coming off them. I'm gonna need a second plate. I grab one off another pile and toss a small piece of salmon, some pot stickers from the Asian section, and a large spoonful of some sort of casserole. I can't even guess what it is, but it looks good. Everything looks good. Solely because I can't fit any more food on my plates, I head to the dining area and pick a seat where Marina will be able to find me easily. Sure enough, she emerges just a minute later, carrying 2 plates, like I did.
Wow. You weren't kidding about trying everything.
Instead of big portions of a few things I got, Marina has 1 or 2 bites of a couple dozen dishes. Roughly half of them are cakes or other sweets.
When in Rome, you know?
Yes, when in Rome, do as the Romans did, and devour everything you can find. Then subjugate the peoples around you. Subjugate them, make them into your own people. Then move forward and expand your empire, devouring all until you eventually collapse under your own weight. I slice off a bit of steak and close my eyes in ecstasy while I chew. It's divine, holy cow. Barely balancing her plates as she slides into the seat beside me, Marina bumps against my shoulder as she gets situated. And I almost spend a forkful of potatoes onto her lap.
Oops, my bad.
In retaliation, I spare a bite of chicken from her plate, swimming in some Asian sauce.
No fear!
It's double fair.
That doesn't even make sense.
It's fair because I paid, damn it. After that, she finally gets to take her first bite, and she melts. Just like me, her eyes roll into the back of her head while she chews.
I don't even remember what this is, but it's amazing.
She scoops up another forkful of what looks like some kind of barbecue brisket and hands it towards me.
Try it.
I open my mouth and she guides the fork in. I pull back to chew. It's got a nice smoky flavor. Briskets.
That is good.
Brisket is best food, but unfortunately it's stupidly expensive because of barbecue culture. So therefore, when it comes to like an actual holiday where I'm expected to make brisket, like a kosher brisket, it's really hard to get because people are like, ew, I want to barbecue a Texas-style brisket, and I'm like, this is push you down. It's not even as good as kosher.
Right? I almost want to go get a whole plate of just that.
I don't blame you. Then she tries a baked chicken that she has next to it.
Wait, never mind. This is even better.
Chicken. There's a distinct lack of vegetables on both of her plates. but she seems to enjoy everything she got. Every bite results in some statement about how it's the best thing so far!
Did you get any of this?
I gesture towards the slice of steak that I've almost finished.
Okay, open up.
She dutifully opens her mouth, like a good girl, while I cut a bite for her. It's the best part, right near the edge, where all the flavour is. It's a little awkward to be feeding her like this, but no one pays attention to us. When she swallows, she sits still. Very slowly, she opens her eyes again.
That was literally the best thing I've ever eaten.
You've said that like 20 times so far.
I mean it this time. That was illegally good.
Now that doesn't make any sense.
It makes double sense.
Yes. We laugh.
Gramps always used to say that the best place to get a steak was at buffets like this.
I mean, fair. Because honestly, they're expecting you to get really full, decide, you know what, while I'm here, I'm feeling a little full, I'm feeling a little bloated. Why don't we sit and play some casino games until we feel better? And then all of a sudden you've lost $2,000.
Not because they're always better, but because you can just go up and get slice after slice. Although, he's the only person I've met who could eat more than one.
Fair enough. Marina chuckles with me, but it's nervous
I used
sounding.
to tease him for it. No one should be able to eat that much meat. He would always complain about him being too done. He cooked his own steaks to be kind of medium rare. Closer to rare.
Gross.
Don't tell me you eat yours well done.
I kind of do eat mine well done, but that is mostly because I was raised by a mother who hated meat, who hated, like, beef. So basically she, from a very young age, would tell me, and basically I don't blame her for this, she was young and, like, not wanting to cook it, and, like, I was, like, 5, so I didn't really want to, you know, I didn't really cook my own food. That, and we were also completely broke, so she didn't want me when I would go out to eat to order it. So she used to tell me that, like, so what kind of survival thing, that if I ate anything but well-done meat, then little worms might hatch out of it and eat their way out of me, like a goddamn horror movie, and that's fucking stuck with me for years, for my entire life. And you know what? It's a very good way to remind me to never undercook chicken or pork, which you have to eat fully cooked. Beef is a little bit safer as long as it's like a good cut of beef. But if you've got a really cheap cut of beef, or if you've got like not a great butcher, then you want to make sure you're fully cooking it through.
Marina, I don't know if we can still be together.
She looks pained.
I'm just kidding, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Don't scare the poor thing. But it doesn't sound like it. I shut up. It's probably not a good idea to talk about Grants too much either. Our plates are mostly empty, and I look back at the serving area dubiously.
Round 2?
She thinks about it, then shakes her head.
I think I'd explode if I ate much more.
Yeah, same.
There's a soft fluttering in my cheeks as Marina leans over and kisses it.
Thank you for bringing me.
You're welcome, dear heart.
Yeah, no problem.
I intently examine the hard plastic bench I'm sitting in. Too long passes before I talk again.
So are you ready to go?
Oh, sure.
She probably wants to play a few casino games. I can tell how on edge she is again. Good going, Amber. Nice. I launch
Just
to my
leave the
feet.
dishes on the table. Someone will come by and clean them up.
I have no idea if that's true. I start to leave, expecting Marina to follow
Amber?
me. What? But I turn around. She's still in the process
Wait
of
for
getting up.
me.
First, she has to brush her face with a napkin, drains the glass of orange juice she was drinking. Then she scoots out of the booth and hurries towards me.
Are you alright?
Yeah, sorry. Just felt kind of nauseous for a second. Probably ate too much.
God damn it, the anxiety woman!
Oh.
I doubt she's buying it. From the corner of my eye, I see her reach towards my hand, then she seems to think better of it, and lets hers fall back to her side. I grab it myself as I lead the way out of the casino. Outside, I take Marina's hand, but it feels limp inside my own. I let her lead the way down the street and towards the busiest part of the city. Sometimes, stuff on the side catches her eye. Brightly colored sports cars that probably belong to millionaires pass by us frequently, or people who want to pretend they're millionaires. There are also people in bike-drawn carriages and double-decker tour buses. Besides the people, the buildings themselves all compete to stand out. Almost every storefront has something neon flashing to get you to look at it. Toy stores, restaurants, sex shops, and more all vie for real estate within a 2-mile block radius. You could probably buy anything you ever wanted. Maybe a half mile ahead of us, on the other side of the road, there are a few street vendors on the sidewalk. They have awnings set up to shade themselves in the merchandise, though it's too far away to see what they're selling. Marina spots them and points.
Ooh, let's go look!
But then her excitement vanishes.
I mean, if you want to.
Look, the two of you need to sit down and have a conversation about what you two want. Because it is driving me insane.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Look, I get it. You are terrified that she's going to be scared off because you're like, ooh, I'm Miss Worldly, and, I'm sad and hurt that my grandfather is dead, and that, I don't really know if someone sweet and kind of nice would like me. And you are terrified that you are finally figuring out something about yourself and what you're attracted to, and are terrified that you are, going to be a force of chaos in her orderly life and disrupt it all. You're both going to hurt each other. That's fine. In a relationship, you hurt each other. That's how it is. But you know what also exists? What also happens? You make each other better. You make each other different. Yeah, you impact each other's lives. But you know what? You grow together. You become an alloy. Now, some alloys are brittle and fall apart, and they collapse because they can't really fuse or weld together. But some, probably less than we want, but more than we give credit for, are made stronger and more than the sum of their parts. So you know what? What would really help you the fuck out is to sit down, talk about what you want, talk about what your expectations are, and fucking talk out your anxieties. Because you're both driving me mad. With a hopeful smile, Marina starts to run. A red light at the crosswalk makes her stop, but not too far ahead, though. I catch up just in time for the light to change. Before she can dart away, I take Marina's hand. She doesn't object, but so does my face, so I smile, and she smiles back. I let her pull me to the vendor, who seems to be selling a little bit of everything. T-shirts cover up most of a wire rack that serves as a wall. There are also bins of buttons, keychains, and other small trinkets. One bin is full of a tiny soapstone animal carvings, and those are what Marina goes for. I ignore the vendor and his weaselly small talk, refusing to be conned into buying tons of junk. After a minute, Marina selects a tiny stone coyote, and I pay $5 for it. Practically a robbery. We start down the road again, with Marina inspecting her new treasure.
Why a coyote?
Probably because it reminds her of you.
I thought she was the cutest. Look at the way the color changes here.
She holds the little trinket up to my nose. There's a spot where the color changes from brown to a milky white on one side of its face.
That is pretty.
Mm-hmm. Plus, wolves are pretty much my favorite animal, and coyotes are close enough.
Fair.
Yeah? Have you ever seen a live wolf?
No, I wish. You?
More than a few.
At Yellowstone a couple years ago, yeah. I begged Gramps to take me.
As soon as I mention Gramps' name, I see Marina's eyes flit towards mine.
What else do they have there?
All kinds of stuff. Wolves, bears, buffalo, elk, deer. Pretty much any kind of forest animal.
Oh my.
And they just wander around, right?
100%.
Yeah. There are even places where you can feed some of them out of your car.
Oh, that sounds actually kind of lovely.
What about the meat eaters? Like wolves and stuff?
There are spots where you can see them, but you can't feed them. They're still wild animals. It's not a zoo or anything.
You know, if you're looking for like a place, one of the best places to view wolves and to interact with them, well, not really interact, but just kind of be around them and see them existing, is in Washington State. There's a place called Wolf Haven, which is one of my favorite places of all time because it's a wolf sanctuary where they take in injured wolves and rehabilitate them before they release them into the wild. And they're absolutely gorgeous, wonderful creatures.
I want to go there someday.
Then I'll take you.
I'll take you to see him sometime. It's a cool place.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
I try to play it off like it's no big deal to me, but talking about future plans, anything that would happen after the festival, ignites that sense of uncertainty in my chest. The way her eyes light up when I promise to take her both soothes and agitates the feeling. No matter what, I'm happy that she's happy. I follow behind, she darts from stall to stall like a hummingbird. They all offer more of the same generic dessert-themed trinkets. Oh gaudy, I love Las Vegas merch! The sidewalks are full of these vendors, who shout and try to get the attention of all of the dozens of people who pass by. Marina's the only one who gets hooked in. But she doesn't ask for anything else. Maybe there just isn't enough wolf merchandise. Every time she dives in to examine someone's wares, I hang back with my hands in my pockets and watch. Once she's done, we hold hands again. It's a nice cycle. But all that changes once we reach the strip itself. It's architecture and eccentric population. I point out some of the more famous places, like Luxor, which is shaped like a pyramid, and Caesar's Palace, which looks like it was stolen from Rome. Marina's oohs and ahs in all the right places, though to my surprise, she doesn't try to lead us to them. Instead, she seems dead set on taking us further and further down the row of sidewalk salesmen, like she's looking for something in particular. Not that I have any idea what that is. She leads the way, looking from side to side, but never seeming quite to find it, till suddenly she freezes in place. A large wave of pedestrian traffic behind us press and spills around like we're not even there. Marina points ahead to one of the street vendors a few blocks ahead.
Found one!
I'm yanked forward once again, being dragged by her newfound enthusiasm. Rather than a bunch of cheaply made goods, the merchant she's noticed has a bunch of colored drawings of cartoon characters, barely recognizable to... Oh god, no. She's found a character artist! Signs behind them advertises custom commissions. $30 each? Fuck off! Immediately I understand what it is Marina wants.
No.
I try to drag my heels, but I'm tugged along by Marina. She's surprisingly strong when she wants to be.
Amber!
Yes, I know. We're going to do the thing. She says my name without even turning around.
This has been on my bucket list for years. It's happening.
Damn it.
What has? Getting ripped off by a street artist?
Yes, it's gonna be cute. She's gonna say something cute.
Having someone draw me!
I will draw you like one of my French girls. My protest going ignored, I fall in step and accept my fate. The guy manning the booth looks like he's completely out of place. He's wearing a flashy Hawaiian shirt and a baseball cap. When he notices Marina and I approaching, he sits up from a slouching position and grins. Creepy asshole.
Hello, ladies.
Hi there. We were interested in having our portrait drawn.
We want you, but I don't protest. I've resigned myself to going along with whatever she wanted.
Perfect.
Don't be creepy, dude. Don't be creepy. It's not a good look for you. He frames us with his fingers, like he's going to take a picture.
You girls stand right there and get comfy. I'll get ready.
You know, we're not going to get too comfy, dude. He lurches off his wooden chair and grabs a sketch pad and a box of
We'll
pencils.
do you two in color. How's that sound?
Yes.
Great.
I just grimace. I'm not fond of having my picture taken, and this isn't much better. I just never feel satisfied with how I look. That's why there aren't many pictures of Gramps and me. Just a couple. I'll deal with it, for Marina's sake. We stand under an awning, though its shade does little to help the heat. Marina shifts from foot to foot while I just wait with my hands in my pockets. Every so often she turns to beam at me, though she doesn't say anything. Jeez, not sure why she's so hyped up, but it's so cute. The guy finally gets his stuff ready, sets up an easel. The piece of paper he's using is almost the size of my torso.
Go ahead and scrunch together now.
He makes a motion with his hands. Marina stands near me and I wrap one arm around her.
Close.
Yes, closer. Our shoulders touching.
Closer.
Look, dude, we're not gonna get that comfy. Now we're cheek to cheek.
Ah, perfect.
as she stares at us with a smile for just a second longer than is comfortable. It makes his expression seem more than a little sleazy. Before I can change my mind, he looks down at the paper and starts to draw. We stand there, not talking or moving at all. Once Marina starts to ask something, but he waves his hand without even looking up.
Quiet! If you move, you'll mess it all up.
So she shuts up. I feel her jaw snap shut a second, since it smooshed against my own. 15 minutes pass. My mouth is starting to get sore. I don't have any guess as far as how long this would take, but it's starting to get annoying. Even Marina starts to be having second thoughts. She wriggles, just barely, probably to fight the growing tension in her muscles. Not enough to ruin the drawing, though. From the corner of my eye, I notice a couple. Glances that we get. We probably don't look especially out of place, but more like hapless tourists who got horned into something. I guess we are, to an extent. I wouldn't mind, except that we also look ridiculous being stuck together, like nearly Siamese twins. Our artist draws with long, swift strokes. Though I can't see what he's doing, he appears confident. Hopefully the result is worth the discomfort. And the $30! Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm nearly at my breaking point when he finally leans back, sets the pencils aside. Marina peels away from me instantly, leaving a damp spot of shed sweat on my face. I rub at it as I follow her, more slowly to see the results. She cranes around the easel to look. I watch her expression go from excited to overjoyed. Her smile widens into a grin as she grasps the drawing in her hands.
Look! It's us!
Ah! Good Godfrey, the proportions of these two girls. That's horrifying. That's absolutely horrifying. Like, good Godfrey. Boobs should not be the size of a head. Like, Jesus Christ. Boobs should not be bigger than your waist. Like, this is sensible. This is a character design that is sensible. This is terrifying. Oh, God. Like, absolutely terrifying. It's us. The first thing I noticed is my boobs. They're a lot larger than in real life. Same with Marina, kinda. Like, dude. Other than that, the drawing is cartoony, or recognizable, but her features are exaggerated. Marina's eyes are almost comically huge. Ah. In contrast, the buildings behind us in the drawings are sharply defined and realistic. Clutching the paper to her chest, Marina sighs a contented smile.
Thank you so much!
God, it made her happy, but I absolutely want to set it ablaze. That was horrifying. That's absolutely fucking horrifying. The artist wipes the sweaty palms on his shorts as he stands. Like, we know what you're doing, artist. We know what you're doing.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, I bet it was your pleasure, you creepy asshole. As he looks at me expectantly. With a sigh, I pull out my wallet and pass him a pair of wrinkled bills. I pass it to him with a nod.
Y'all have a lovely day now.
Don't be creepy. It's bad luck. With that, he slouches down again and pulls out a cheap-looking paperback novel. The drawing is still close to Marina's chest like a priceless artifact. Every few seconds, she holds it away from her and grins as she looks at it. That makes it worth the cost. Finally, Marina rolls up the drawing like a scroll and tucks it under her arm for safekeeping. We stand in the shade of the awning while we look up and down the road.
We should split up for a little bit.
No, don't like that.
What?
I can't help but yelp. That's the last thing I was expecting.
Not for long. There's just something I want to do.
Okay.
And you can't be there.
Why not?
Shuffling in place, Marina looks away.
'Cause it's a surprise.
What are you planning? Why am I scared? Why am I scared about what you're planning?
Mayor, no. This isn't some small town. This is Las Vegas. What if you get lost? Or some creeper tries to mess with you?
Fair.
It'll be fine, Amber. There's like 1 million people on this street.
Yeah, so? That doesn't mean anything.
I mean it. It'll be fine.
There's a fire in her voice that takes me by surprise. There's even a small spark in her eyes, like she's angry. My
But
frown deepens.
Seriously, it's nothing bad, I promise. I just want to do something, but it's a surprise for you, so you can't be there.
Okay, fair enough. Her face softens.
Please, it'll only be a couple hours.
Yeah, but then I have to be alone with my thoughts, and you know what those are like.
Marina, I don't know.
Of all the cities to split up in, this is one of the worst. Not only do we not have a way to contact each other if needed, but the people aren't the sort you can trust. I mean, people are fine in cities. Like, Las Vegas is a little bit of an exception, sure. But also, we should probably get her a cell phone. Like, just, it doesn't have to be a fancy one, like we could go into, like, a gas station, get her a cheapy prepaid one. So, like, if she needs you, she can call, or if you can call her and help her find where you are, where it's supposed to be. If I leave her on her own, it's a good chance I'll never see her again. But the way she stands there, hands on her hips, looking determined, makes me not want to argue. I sigh.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean it. Just give me like 3 hours.
That's a long time.
Not really.
You think? I tried to keep it short.
In 3 hours, she could probably be snatched into someone's car and well into Arizona, or California, or halfway to Reno. Yeah, this one is the type to be put in the back of a bad man's van. It's irresponsible of me to let her go, but I can tell by looking at her that I don't have a choice.
Okay, fine. But can you at least stay on the street? It's a straight shot back to the Rio where we're parked, and so it'd be harder to get lost.
Marina nods fast.
That's fine. I heard he saw where I need to go, but you're not allowed to watch, okay?
But I hate to see you leave, but I'd love to watch you go. God, that's creepy.
Yeah. I'll probably just go back to the car anyway.
Now she frowns.
Isn't there anything you want to see?
Eh?
Not without you.
Aw.
Aw, Amber.
Amber, you are the insecure cute one. You can't get away from it now. She kicks at the ground.
I guess we don't have to...
No, go on.
What?
Just be safe, okay? Don't do anything silly.
It's basically 90% of her personality is silly.
I guess it'll be fine for a couple hours.
She takes the drawing in one hand and then hugs me tight. The Marina leans up and kisses me on the lips. She pulls away before I can get into it.
Okay, I'll see you in a while then.
Fucking sit down, have a conversation with each other about what you're expecting,
Right.
expectations are, and what you are wanting out of this relationship. We stand there, neither of us moving. I sigh again and then trudge back towards the road, down the road. I do have to say, I do kind of appreciate that they're kind of dealing with the awkwardness of what comes next on the relationship. I respect that. I like it. I think it's a little bit more solid. I think it's kind of nice. I glance back for every few steps, but she doesn't move. Instead, she watches me and waves, probably making sure that I keep good on my promise not to follow her. As tempting as it is, I'll let her go for now. 3 hours can't be that hard, right? Turns out I was wrong. 2 hours are agony. I wander from store to store, stepping in without actually caring what's for sale. The first is a vegan restaurant. I don't take any samples. Just next door is some fetish shop with its windows covered. All the lights inside are colored, mostly red or sometimes violet. Don't go in because I really don't want to have to censor this stream. The girl behind the counter, pale skinned and with artificially black hair, gives me a smile that I return. But I don't stick around. I don't even know what I'm doing, going through the motions of being a tourist, I guess. Technically, I am exploring Las Vegas. Tomorrow, I'm sure I won't be able to remember a single detail of these shops. Up ahead is yet another street vendor. His setup is nearly twice as long as most of the others and includes large glass display cases. Okay, I'm getting emergency text from work. Stand by. Okay, it's mostly just that we have a wedding party at the office. Whale speech with them. Native Lakotas in 5 different tempos, but the idea of them being a phonetic alphabet for whales. Ooh, that seems kind of a cool idea. Can you send me a DM with that video? I'd be with a link to that video. I'd be really interested in watching it. Looks like it must be a pain to transport. I wander over, pretending to be interested. The clerk, a Hispanic man with a short goatee, watches me, but doesn't say anything, not even a greeting. It's all cell phones and phone accessories, chargers, cases, cords, and the like. Nothing relevant to me. A special discount on prepaid phones and time cards right now, it seems. Half dozen identical posters plaster the wall of the largest case. I stare at one of the flyers, though I'm not actually reading it. Just imagining Marina and I had cell phones. It might help at times like this. Times when I'm being ridiculous and clingy and an idiot. Aw. Being able to reach her at any time would be nice, but would they get much use? I mean, having a way to stay in contact would be nice. That's where I realized something, and I'm dumbfounded by a simple fact, which is that's been bothering me since we split up. This is the first time since meeting Marina that I've been on my own. That she isn't just a room away or within shouting distance. Even though it's only been a couple hours, I suddenly feel profoundly alone. It's pathetic. I know I'll see her again in less than an hour now, but the anxiety of separation gets the better of me. It makes me sick as all the horrible scenarios flash in my head again. You are a gentle person and a scholar, Pylon. I owe you 10,000 favors. The ones where something bad is happening to her, and she's not able to call for help. I look at the phones in the case. I've never had one, so I'm not very knowledgeable, but they all look very cheap and flimsy. Yeah, it's basically how cell phones are built so that they can be discarded super easy. I try to find a brand name, but it wouldn't mean much to me, even if I could. The only names I'd be familiar with are from those massive companies that make everything, not just phones. The one whose merchandise costs hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I think Marina had a Hesse? I've heard they're pretty good. They're actually sounds like I know it could be just kind of a generic brand name. Then again, I've also heard about shady stuff with them suddenly replacing all their production workers with robots. Gramps said this sort of thing would be a part of the New World Order. That's why Gramps had me prepped to run a survivalist compound. Doesn't matter though. It's tempting, but there isn't much point. In just a week left now, even Coachella will be over. After that, well, a phone gives us a way to stay in touch. Once we've spin around and walking away in a hurry, feeling suddenly sick again. I must have looked like a lunatic, coming up, standing still, then freaking out and leaving. Maybe that's why the guy didn't say anything. I just look like another insane junkie. I picture some tweaker stepping out of an alley towards Marina, who of course wouldn't even notice, and I shove those thoughts out of my head. 1 hour, just one more hour, chill, I tell myself for the 1000th time. Across the street from the phone carts is a bright green sign from a candy store, one of those places that has floor-to-ceiling bins of gummies that sell by the pound. I half expect to see Marina in there myself. Getting her a surprise bag of sugar might be a good way to try to make up for being weird. Until the next time I act weird, that is. Across the street as soon as there's a gap in the traffic, not bothering to go to a crosswalk. The doors have an outline and handles that are the same lime green as the sign. When I step inside, I see that the walls are too. I'm reminded of the slime from those old shows I used to watch on TV that would be sprayed onto the audience or cast members. Not the most appetizing impression. The selection is good, though. Like I expected there. There are more varieties of candy than I've ever seen in a single place. Only pictures. There are several different types of plastic bag that you can fill, ranging from I'm on a diet to garbage bag sizes. I grab a medium-sized one. Then I realize that I don't know what to get for Marina. Definitely chocolates, but with or without nuts. I can't remember if I've ever heard an opinion. Well, I mean, you're both, since you two are women, I'd assume without nuts. The doom tish. I try to recall what she's gotten at gas stations along our trip, but I never paid that much attention. Maybe I should go for a mixture of both. But then, what if she's allergic to something? I'll probably wouldn't have ever come up, since we always eat out in order for ourselves. I don't want to give her a 3-pound sack of anaphylactic shock! It'd be the perfect murder. Gummies, then. Those might be safer. And gummies are the best road trip snack. I stand by this. Chocolate melts, especially when you're going through the Southwest. Gummies will melt together and then form, basically you can pull it out like a hand fruit and just devour. There are more types of gummy candies than I thought even existed. Several different flavored rings, candies shaped like the fruits they taste like, and other things like chewy soda bottles. Oh, those wax soda bottles are fucking terrible. For just a moment, I wonder about which one I should pick. I remember her saying she loves raspberry, or was it strawberry? Strawberry, because strawberries are the best fruit. I will die on that hill. But I think she's gotten strawberry soda before, not that that means anything. This is a gift, so I want it to be perfect. Not a bag full of things she dislikes. It doesn't have to be perfect, dear. Then remember, Marina likes pretty much everything. Elated at the simplicity, I dump a small scoop of just about every sort of gummy they sell. For good measure, I get a second smaller bag and fill it with some malted chocolate balls, caramel clusters, and plain old chocolate chunks. Safe options. I haul those 2 bags over to the counter. There's just one attendant. She's currently ringing up a mom with her 2 sons. Kids dart around their mom's legs, rattling displays and knocking items off the shelf. No one makes them stop or fix their mess. One of the kids stares up at me and I frown at him deeply. He stops running and hides behind his mom's legs. Good. Fear me, child! When they leave, the child is still clinging to her like a bear cub. I set my bags down upon the counter, and kneel down to replace some of the spilled items. As I do that, the shopkeeper comes around front, nearly bumping into me.
Oh, you don't have to do that. Thank you.
I'm collecting pretty girls with my Riz. I think I used that correctly.
Yeah, no problem.
I look up, directly into her knees. I straighten up as we're suddenly way too close, stumbling backwards. I grab the counter to support myself. She laughs, eyes crinkling. She's cute. Her tan skin is complemented by the bright red uniform she wears. A little name tag on the counter says her name is Cassie.
You know, there's a special going on right now.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Stack of postcards sit by the credit card machine. She
If you
hands
buy
me
10
one.
more bags, you get one for free.
10 more fuck off! Try to imagine how much candy that would be. We'd need a wheelbarrow to haul it all out. Cassie laughs, probably at my expression.
Yeah, we haven't had many people spring for that one.
Fair
The
enough.
person I'm buying this stuff for probably would, if she was here. This'll probably be gone by tonight.
I gesture at the bags, still sitting on the scale.
Oh, shopping for your sister, or?
Nah, my girlfriend.
I try out the word, seeing how it sounds in relation to Marina. As expected, it makes my heart skip a beat. During that beat, I feel like I see the shopkeeper's face fall, just for a second. Aww! Aww! You rizzed out the shopkeeper!
Yeah, lucky girl.
Damn lucky girl!
Thanks.
I don't know if she means because of the candy, or because of me. A little column A, a little column B. After inspecting up my bags, she dumps them into an even larger bag. That seems unnecessary, but I guess it makes them easier to carry. She passes me the candy as well as the receipt.
Have a good day.
They're all good days with Amber.
Try the peach rings. They're my favorite.
I will. Have a nice day, too.
The girl waves as I leave the store. Outside, I check the receipt, since I wasn't really listening to the total. It looks like she didn't charge me for the smaller bag. I glance back inside. She's disappeared in the back room. I guess that answers my earlier question. Flattered, I head back to the Rio, where we're parked. It's not long until I'm supposed to meet Marina, and if I spend too long outside, her present will melt. Walking back to the casino, where we parked, is way faster than leaving it was. That's probably because I'm still missing the human pinball, so I'm not held up every time I pass a shop. I say that, but of course I'm eager to see her again. In some parallel universe, where I hadn't met Marina, I might have stuck around at that candy store to chat for a longer time. But unfortunately for Cassie, I already have someone. The parking lot of the Rio has filled up even more. Getting out of here is going to be a pain, since there wasn't a whole lot of room to begin with. I make my way to the RV, let myself in. It feels like an oven. The first thing I do is turn on the AC. I set the bags of candy down on my bed to inspect them. As I feared, the chocolate is slightly melted, streaking brown against clear plastic. It's not too bad, though. A couple hours in the fridge should have it good as new. Oh, well, thank you, 69 Layhoundzu 69. But I already have the best viewers on Twitch. So, you know. Thanks, but no thanks. And fuck off and die. There we go. I do not support the evil robot horde. I leave the gummies on the counter, since I don't suffer too as much on the walk back. Marie and I are supposed to meet up there in about a half hour. How's she going to tell time? She doesn't own a watch. I may as well just wait in here, where it's more comfortable. I lay down on my bed, try to read the book Marina's been sucked into for a few days, but I can't stay focused on the words long enough to process them. It doesn't take long before I give up and set it aside. Now I just stare at the ceiling. I used to do this most nights when I couldn't sleep. After Gramps passed, but before I met Marina. It wasn't that it comforted me or anything. No, not at all. But the amount of effort it took to not think of anything usually led to me falling asleep without realizing. Instead, this time, I let my thoughts wander. Sleeping has been easier lately. Actually doing something during the day and getting exercise helps a lot. But also my thoughts have been less cloudy, less muddled. Sure, there are still moments where I think of Gramps, and the pain hits me again. Having Marina around makes those rare. Someday, I might be able to think of him without it hurting. I don't know if I want that, though. Isn't that just like forgetting? Most people say you move on and get over deaths, but that does not... What does that mean for the person you lost? I roll onto my side and stare at the picture of me and Gramps hanging on the wall. I can't take it, and roll onto my other side. Groaning into my pillow, it's cathartic. Without Marina here, I can be as loud as I want. To my surprise, no tears come. Anyone walking by outside would probably think I'm dying or in pain, but I don't care. Alone time has its upsides, after all. Grieving is complicated and exhausting. Sometimes I wonder if I'm even doing it right. You are, dear heart. There might be something wrong with me if I don't even want to get over Gramps. No, there's nothing wrong with you. It's perfectly fair to take time to heal. I sit up, still hugging the pillow to my chest. Marina will be back soon. Maybe I can talk about this with her. As I think that, I feel a stab of guilt. It's not her problem. It's something I have to deal with myself. She's your partner. I force myself up and over to the driver's seat. I'm not going anywhere, but I can listen to music and watch for Marina's return. I stick in a tape and kick back. A few songs pass by. It's been 20 minutes or so. I start to scan the parking lot, looking for her familiar red hair. The tape ends. That's okay, it's a short one. I replace it with another one, chosen at random. Still no sign of Marina. I get up and check the clock. She's about 10 minutes late now. Maybe the clock is off somehow. I hop out of the RV and ask someone for the time. It matches up exactly with what the clock said. Worry begins to tighten my stomach, but I force myself to calm down. It's Marina. It's only been 15 minutes! Most likely she got distracted and is on her way right now. 5 more minutes pass. I begin to pace back and forth. Should I go and look for her? I have no idea where to start, though. And if she got to the RV and I wasn't there, she might go looking for me instead. No, I have to stay. I have to stay and wait. Another 10 minutes. She's half an hour late now. I'm still buying us cell phones. As soon as she's back, we're going to go to that guy in the street and we're getting prepaid phones. From a few streets away, I can hear the sound of a siren, a fire truck, or ambulance, or something. The knot in my throat feels larger. I cough, just to relieve some of the tension. I have to go look. I can't take just sitting here. I switch off the engine, throw my shoes on, and climb out. And then I see her, head down, walking slow, but coming towards me. The relief in my voice probably conveys the panic that just drained out of me. She looks at the sound of her name, and that's when I see that she's crying.
What's wrong?
I rush over.
What's wrong?
Alarm poisons my voice. Did something happen to her after all? Put my hands on her shoulders and shake her
Marina,
gently.
talk to me. What happened? Are you okay?
Let her answer the question, dude. She still can't talk, but she nods. Thank God. There are no sobs, but her eyes are pouring tears. Ever so often she hiccups, like she's barely restraining herself from fully
Come
banging.
on.
I take her hand and lead her back to the RV. No one gives us a second glance. This is probably a common occurrence here. Marina silently follows me to the RV. I lead her to my bed and have her sit down. I sit beside her, alternating between rubbing her back and her shoulders. I try to get her to calm down. Slowly her breathing slows to normal. When I offer her a tissue, she blows her nose loudly. Then she takes a few more to wipe her eyes. Rather than prod her more, I wait, even though it takes all my self-control. After a shuddery breath, she looks at me, eyes still watering.
I messed up, Amber.
Oh no, what did you
Bad.
do? Dear heart, you
How?
okay? Her breath catches again and she sobs. It's hoarse and seems to take her by surprise. I immediately rub her shoulders again. And then there's a knock at the RV door.
What the hell?
I stand up, but I can't see who it is from here.
I'll be right back.
I unlock the front door to an all-familiar face.
It's time to pay up!
I shut the door. Before it's even fully latched, Mariah starts to pound on the door. I lock it and head back to Marina.
Let them in.
Huh?
Go let them in. It's Mariah, right?
No, fuck her.
Yeah, but how did you... Wait, does this have something to do with...
Marina nods. With a bad feeling about it all, I go back to the door, which is still suffering Mariah's assault. I open it, and she storms in with a huff, acting like always she owns the place. Joseph and Tess file in after her. Joseph gives me a smile and a small shake of the head.
Sorry.
He says it so quietly that I don't think anyone else hears. I figure I'll find a way. I'll find out why he's apologizing in a second. Like a conqueror, Mariah marches over to Marina and jabs a finger in her face.
Time to pay up, ditz!
You don't fucking talk to her that way. In 2 large steps, I move between the two of them.
Okay, what the hell happened?
Didn't you hear?
I was about to, when you attacked my front door.
Well, allow me to deliver the bad news then.
Sis stole Marina's gold.
What? Did not!
It is impossible to figure anything out. Marina is crying too hard to talk, and Mariah's just yelling nonsense like always. I turn to Joe, who's keeping a safe distance along with
Can you
Tess.
please explain?
Sure. Mare ended up making Marina a bet for all the gold, which she lost. It was a pretty silly thing, and I told her just to let it go, but here we are.
I'm equal parts amused and disgusted that Joseph uses the same nickname for Mariah that I do for Marina. Come to think of it, I'm not sure that I even noticed how similar their names are.
A bet's a bet, and she lost fair and square.
Fuck off.
I don't think it was fair.
The odds were kinda in your favor.
I turn to Marina, the only person whose opinion really matters to me.
Was it fair?
Slowly she nods.
What game did you play?
Poker.
Fuck off! I glare at Mariah, who at least has a shame to look away. Anyone who spent more than a minute around Marina would know there's no way she could keep a straight face. I sigh and sit down on the bed beside Marina. I wrap an arm around her. She leans into me, eyes moist.
You know you can only take half the treasure, right? Marina and I split it equally, so she couldn't bet away my half.
That wasn't the deal!
I don't give a shit.
That's the only deal she could have made. But I'll bet you my half against hers.
Amber, no!
I squeeze her affectionately, but I shake my head.
It's fine.
I stand and go to where we've been stashing the gold. I pull out a box of nuggets and open it so Mariah can see. Her eyes light up and she licks her lips. I snap the box shut.
Fine, but we're not playing poker.
No, we're fighting. We're gonna straight up fight.
Oh yeah? What game then?
She thinks about it for a moment.
Blackjack.
I knew this gambling would lead to this kind of thing when you mentioned gold. Damn right. Seriously, blackjack is more about luck than it is skill. I'm not that great at poker though, so blackjack might be the most fair game we could play. I wonder if Mariah suggested it though. Maybe she expects me to win at poker. If that's the case, then the mind games have already begun.
Fine. It's a bet.
Marina stopped crying. Her breath still comes in little spurts, but she's mostly in control of herself. She tugs at my shirt.
Amber, really? You don't have to do this. I screwed up.
No, baby. If you got taken advantage of by an absolute terrible person.
It's okay. I'll fix it. That's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah, I got this. I can't read the look on her face, the one that vanishes over us after a quick split second. We're gonna save really quick in case it actually has me playing it. Because we're gonna save scum.
Okay.
Facing Mariah again, I put the gold away.
Where will we play? There's not enough room here.
There's a casino close by. Down the street from this one. We can do it there.
Oh,
I'm not old enough to gamble. Not legally, at least.
she shrugs.
Doesn't matter. This place won't check your ID. Probably gonna be closed within a year.
Oh, delightful. I don't like the sound of that. I feel like I'm being set up.
It's true. It's where we played.
I don't think this is good. This is a good plan.
Really?
Yeah, they had like party rooms that were empty. I just used one of those.
Yeah, return. Never heard of anything like this place, but if they let Marina in, they'll probably let me in too. I'd also feel better about playing with cards than I know Mariah won't have messed with.
Fine. Tell me how to get there, and I'll meet you in a little bit.
She gives me directions as well as the name of the building. Worst case, Marina can probably find it. Maybe. I count on Marina's half of the gold and put it in one of the boxes before handing it to Mariah, who snatches it from my grip.
Enjoy, because this is the only time you'll get to touch the treasure.
With a final sneer, Mariah leads her troop out of the RV. Joseph still looks pretty sorry about the whole thing. Let's see. Price per ounce gold. So an ounce of gold is $2,454.10. So several nuggets of gold, even if it's not really that heavy, it's probably, I'd say, let's see, average size of a gold nugget. Between a few grams and a few ounces on average. So every nugget is maybe, we're going to be generous and say 1.5 ounces. So we'll say maybe each box may be held, because it's described as holding a couple, as like several nuggets, each box will hold about 10. So that's 30 of about 1.5 ounces. So if we go down to about 15, now let's see, conservatively, we're at 15 of about 1.5 ounces. So that would be $2,454.10 times 1.5, because we're going 1.5 ounces. So that's $3,681.15 times 15. That's still $55,000. So we still got about 55 grand. So we could just fuck off. I look at Marina. She looks at the floor.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that was a really dumb bet. That was a really stupid bet. I'm not even that upset. Compared to all the 1,000,001 awful scenarios I've concocted, this is pretty tame. And knowing Marina, it's not that shocking either. So I'm being honest when I smile at her.
It's okay, really. I'll go win back your gold, and then we can get out of Vegas.
She sniffles.
Seriously, though, what were you thinking?
I was just so surprised to see them here. I thought it must be fate or something. I was shopping around and I saw something that I really wanted, but I didn't have enough money.
Oh.
And then I saw the three of them at this little diner, so I went in to say hello and told them all about it.
You know they don't have any money, right? Any money either, right?
What was it you wanted to buy?
That's a secret. I wanted to show it to you. But anyway, then Mariah made me that bet and I don't know, Amber. I guess I just got so excited about it that I didn't really think. Like, if you'd been there, you would have beat her no problem. I don't even think she's very good at poker. It's just that I'm kind of bad at hiding how I feel.
Really, I couldn't tell. I can't help but laugh.
No way, you're kidding me.
She sticks her tongue out at me. Guess she's feeling a little bit better.
Really, though, what if you lose to Mariah?
Then I lose. It won't happen, though.
Because I'll punch her.
Are you good at blackjack?
I'm gonna punch her and tase her and take it.
A lot of it's luck. There's stuff you can memorize, like card combos, but I don't know any of that.
What if Mariah does?
I doubt it. She would have played that against you if she did. Easier to make it seem like you just got unlucky, instead of her taking advantage of you.
She didn't take...
Yes, she did.
Bullshit, Mare. She might not have cheated, but she still should have known better.
Marina frowns and now looks at the floor again. I can't tell if I'm helping or not. Then I remember the candy I bought her earlier. It had totally slipped my mind over the last hour.
Oh yeah! I got you something. To try to say sorry for being so weird lately. Even though I've already said that too.
I grab the bag of chocolates from the fridge and the gummies from above it. Eyes wide, Marina holds them to her like babies.
Amber,
Her eyes start to water again.
thank you so much.
Hey, No more crying. This wasn't supposed to make you cry.
She giggles, but that doesn't stop 2 tears from running down her face.
Sorry. I'm crying a lot.
Yes, you are, dear heart.
Kinda, yeah.
Marina laughs again. She unties the gummy bag and digs around in it.
The chocolates got a little melted on the walk back, but they've been in the fridge.
They look just fine to me.
She pulls out a few gummy soda bottles and then offers me the bag. I don't want to take too much, but I do find one of the peach rings the cashier recommended. It really is good. Sweet, but in a mild way. It actually tastes like peaches.
Are you ready to go?
Marina spins the bag to twist it, then ties off the top.
Yeah.
I vaguely know where the casino Mariah mentioned is located. We passed it earlier today, but I didn't pay much attention to it. As we load out of the RV, Marina's dragging her feet.
Do you want to wait here? I can just go take care of this and then come back.
No way.
I need my cheerleader after all.
I don't want to split up again.
After I lock up and take her hand, since I'm in the lead this time, the walk isn't as slow. With evening approaching, the temperature's gone down. At the same time, traffic's starting to build up. In a few hours, it'll look like an entirely different city here, once all the lights come on. The view of the big city, at night, far in the distance, has always been one of my favorite sights. I can remember staying up late when Gramps and I were on the road so that I could press like a sticker against the window and look. They sell postcards of New York and Atlanta and other places, all lit up because it's so pretty. We've got a couple hours until then. Neither Marina nor I say that much while we walk. Even given the situation, it doesn't feel as awkward as some of our quiet times before. Soon we reach the building Mariah described.
This the place?
Yeah, this is it.
We step inside. I can see why Mariah said this place might be closed soon. Although it's pretty clean looking, there's hardly anyone here. A couple of people occupy slot machines far away from each other. Aside from those two, and a bored-looking host, the place is pretty empty. Well, those three in the trio, Mariah and her posse, are seated on a semicircular couch. It and an incidental couch form a circle around a card table. Quick save. No greetings are exchanged as Marina and I take our places across from them. A sealed deck of cards sits on the table. It's got a gaudy Las Vegas landmarks and logos all over it, but at least it's legit.
Should we ask that guy to come deal for us?
Hell no! The only reason they don't check ID is because they don't care.
Fair.
If you attract any attention, they'll throw you out.
Okay, so who will?
Does she have a giant, spear on her back? That's concerning.
Tess can.
Tess nods.
Really? No offense, but does she even know how?
Of course she knows how. She's not an idiot. And before you get any ideas, she's more likely to help you cheat than help me.
That's because you're a shitty person who treats your sister like a fucking accessory rather than a human being. Tess nods
Just
again.
ask.
Ha! Yes! Help me cheat, child. Help me cheat.
Alright, that works for me.
Because if 2 underage girls are going to play, then why not have a 10-year-old deal the cards? Mariah slits open the plastic wrap on the deck and hands it to Tess. The little girl takes out the instructional cards and the jokers, then shuffles. I have to say, I'm impressed. She creates a bridge with the cards. It's way tighter than I ever could. Mechanical,
So
even.
there are 16 pieces total. We'll go piece by piece, I guess.
Sure.
That means that I'll have to win 8 hands in a row without Mariah or the dealer winning any, turn back all of Marina's treasure, and won't settle for anything less than the full amount. We have a small stack of tokens near us. Each represents a single
How
piece
does
of
this
treasure.
game work?
Basically, you try to get the cards in your hand to add up to 21, or as close as possible without going over. Whoever's closest wins that round. The dealer can win too. We all get 2 cards. Then, you can stand, which is where you don't take any more cards, or you can hit, which is where you draw another.
That sounds really easy.
Oh, it's deceptively easy.
I guess. Like I said, it's mostly luck.
Shut up. Time to play.
Or I could just punch her. I flip her off, but don't argue. Fuck, 19. Tess deals us the first hand. I stand while Marina hits. Don't expect her to beat my Antine, but she lays down a 10, a 3, and a 6.
Damn.
Tess slides her 2 tokens. Next round, I beat her. Win the next 2 rounds after that, but then the dealer wins and we have to start over. The game drags on for a long time. Joseph has fallen asleep, head lolling backwards over the couch. Even Marina, who has both her honor and money at stake here, is starting to fidget. We've been playing for close to an hour. She doesn't even complain at all, though. After a while, even Mariah and I are starting to get annoyed. She sighs and shifts irritably while I debate what to do. When she takes her time thinking, I bite down the urge to say something snarky and hurry her along. Once Tess wins again, we're both sitting at 3 pieces each. Mariah wipes her palms and clears her throat.
This is taking forever.
Yep. But if you're saying we just call it here, the answer is no.
No. But let's just go all or nothing. One final hand.
Quick save.
Then you won't be able to say I cheated or took advantage of anyone, and I can finally relax with my treasure.
You did take advantage of someone. You took advantage of a sweet, innocent girl who's on an adventure for the first time in her life and is feeling deeply and is falling in love with her friend. You are a bad person and kind of aggressively cruel. And really, Joseph, it's kind of a little bit on you because you're not stopping this. You never stopped. You keep going, oh, this is wrong and I don't like it. It's probably not fair. And you try to be the good guy, but you never really work to stop her or just fucking leave. You just consistently enable her. I think about it. One more hand, huh? The odds are probably better than if we were to sit here all night. Maybe I'm not good enough at math to calculate. It will be possible that we're here until the festival comes around, if we keep going back and forth like this. I look over at Marina, whose interest has been piqued again.
What do you think?
She gives it a long thought, her face betraying nothing.
I
Then she
have
shrugs.
no idea.
Right then.
Fine. All or nothing.
Mariah nods, satisfied.
Deal 'em, kid.
Tess passes out her cards. Pick mine up, holding so that Marina can see. Okay, 16 ain't bad. Tess is showing an 8. I try to show some sort of reaction from Mariah, but her face is totally expressionless. No wonder she beat Marina at poker.
Amber?
I think it's the first time she's ever said my name. It sounds weird coming from her.
I'll stand.
If we're to take a hit and draw another card, there's a pretty good chance it put me over blackjack, and that would be a loss by default.
Sis?
Hit me.
Tess slides her another card and flips one over the whole card. It's a 4 for a grand total of 12. That means we still beat her at least.
Let's see.
I lay down my cards and wait for Mariah to do the same. Except she doesn't. She just looks at my cards, flat on the table, face stony, mouth silent. Then she makes a sound of disgust and flings her 3 cards to the table. I flip them over to see a 3, a 2, and a 10. Fuck!
We win.
Oh, yeah. We got there with less cards. So in the matter of a tie, I forgot that less cards wins. Marina looks at me, then at the table, then back to me, making sure she heard me right.
We did?
Yeah. The total of her hand was closer to 21 than hers was.
Strangely, I don't even feel excited. Not about victory. Well, no, if it was... But the fact that it came over Mariah, which is nicer, I just feel relieved. I thought she had a 16 too. Okay, I could be wrong. Marina squeals, then explodes towards me, half leaping, half tackling me into a hug as I nearly fall off the couch. She plants a large kiss on my cheek, then travels over to my mouth.
Oh God, Amber! I was so worried, but oh my God, thank you! You're the best!
Hey, I'm not always going to be able to come save the day like this, so try not to make decisions like this ever again. Her praises her daughter with kisses all over my face. Joseph, woken up by the commotion, looks away with a blush. Tess, on the other hand, stares at us, creepily, apathetic. I separate myself from Marina and stand up. Mariah has already traveled halfway to the door, not saying anything in her defeat. The little wooden box of gold is abandoned where her arm was. I check and count the pieces of treasure. They're all there. I start to move toward Mariah to start to say something, but Joseph clucks his tongue. I stop.
Don't worry about her. She's always like this.
Yeah, and you enable her shitty attitude and her shitty way of being. You're kind of an asshole. You know, you make noises about disagreeing with how she acts, but then you let her get away with this nonsense. So Joseph, you're not really much better.
Sorry.
Not sure what else to say. I half shrug, which is hard since Marina still clings to my arm.
Don't be. Better things work out this way.
Yeah.
Come on, kiddo.
He takes Tessa's hand and they start to follow Mariah, who's
You
left the
ladies
building.
take care.
You too.
See you later.
Once they leave, I look down at the mess of chips and cards on the table. Someone will come by and clean them up. Marina tugs on my shirt while I look at her. She kisses me on the lips again. For the first time today, we stay like that for a long time, not caring how many stares we might be getting, though it can't be more than 3. I still taste a faint saltiness from her tears. I feel her lips curve into a smile, even before we pull
Thank
apart.
you. Seriously. I know I'm always saying thank you and sorry, but I am sorry that I screw up so much.
That could partially be why she's kind of nervous. Because she's just kind of like, am I even worth keeping around? Is she just going to get bored of
Don't
me?
worry about it. It all worked out, right?
Yeah, but only because you were there.
Yeah, and I only went on this adventure and found the gold because you took me on it. So, you've improved my life as much as I've improved yours. So, I'm speaking as Amber right now. So just in case that is, not clear.
I don't know what I would have done if you weren't.
Well, if I wasn't, then you wouldn't be either, you know?
I mean, it's a joke, but she doesn't laugh. Just leans into me.
I know.
Then we kiss again. We must look like perverts just standing in the middle of a casino making out.
Ready to get out of Vegas?
Definitely. But, one thing first.
What's that?
Can we get something to eat?
I was hoping you'd say that. I saw this Chinese place earlier that smelled amazing. Sound good?
Very.
Hand in hand, like always, we leave the casino and make the quick walk to the restaurant. I would come across it while waiting for Marina before. All along the strip, more and more lights are coming on. It's hard to tell that it's getting much darker out because of how much artificial light there is. We get to the restaurant and eat outside on the patio, watching as more and more buildings are illuminated. By the time we're done and back to the RV, Las Vegas has shifted fully from daytime to artificial daytime. Yeah, it's basically the way all casinos work. What time is it? Oh, it's time to lose some money.
Make sure you get a good spot by the window. You're gonna want to see this.
It starts slowly, just a few lights in the apartment windows coming to life, or lonely streetlights flickering on. I drive slowly so as to keep us here longer. Besides me, Marina shifts impatiently but doesn't say anything. By now she knows when I'm being serious. I know she won't be disappointed. As more and more lights flare up across the skyline, I can see Marina shift to get a better view. I smile to myself. This is what I was waiting for. What she was waiting for, even if I don't know it yet. Las Vegas lights light up like a forest of Christmas trees, glimmering orange and yellow against the muddy blackness of the night sky. The further away from here, the heart of the city we get, the more of its gorgeous sprawl we can see. Soon it's so immense that the entire world seems to be awash with forced color. I ignore the signs that will lead us all the way out of Las Vegas, instead cruise along the streets that will let us admire for longer. Marina's head slowly turns with every bend in the road, her gaze magnetically fastened to the city. Skyscrapers zoom by, each one another pillar of light. The casinos, which have gaudier decorations, make an exotic contrast to the mundane office and apartment buildings. Marina drinks it in all water, out here in the desert. Light from the windows frames her face, and I remember how I thought of her as angelic back at Zion. Now the world's even more fitting, because of the way her open-mouthed smile enhances the effect. She catches me watching, and for a second, the smile's directed at me. Then she turns back to Vegas, which is finally starting to recede as we head out of town. She's silent until long after it's faded from the rearview mirror. Then she clears her throat and finally looks at me again.
We're going back one day, right?
110%.
Sure, if you want.
Good, because we didn't even get to do like a nickel,
Quarter.
a quarter of the super cool stuff we should have done.
Oh yeah? Like what?
Even if I do live like a gross homer, I know what Vegas has to offer, but I like seeing her excited. There's always a genuine spark of wonder that's ignited when she is. it might have to do with her lack of experience, but I like to think she'd be the same regardless.
Well, there's this pirate stunt show that looks really cool. I heard about
Oh, yeah,
another
they got
show
their
with
gold back
fountains and
pylon.
lights that shoots water way up high in
They
the air. And
dominated at blackjack. She spreads her arms far apart and scrunches her face down, giving herself a double
I
chin.
want to try every single buffet in town.
Darn right.
That's a lofty goal, Marina.
But we're rich now.
I thump her head and squish her down with the palm of my hand.
And we almost lost all of that in a single day. So you should know how easy it is to blow it.
Well, I think it would be romantic. We can rent out a hotel room, order a really nice bottle of wine, and just cuddle by the window and look at the lights.
That does sound kind of lovely. Wistful look gleams in her eyes. She gazes out the window into the vast desert night, sighing like I just stepped out of a royal carriage and swept her off her feet. Never mind the fact that Marina has probably never tried wine in her life and would spit it out the second it touched her lips. It does sound really nice. Guess I have some high expectations to live up to. I've always had them, but now it feels more official. Now more than ever, I'm obligated to keep her happy and safe. Those thoughts occupy my mind for an hour or so as we traverse the desert highway. Marina's gone back to staring out the window at the barely visible roadside. Past a sign off the side of our deserted lane. We're pushing 80, so it's almost like we almost miss it, but I catch a quick glimpse as we speed by. Nothing special, just a dusty sheet of aluminum with a picture of poppies and 3 words printed on it. Welcome to California. It's gone before I can even process it. Guess we're in California. It doesn't look like Marina noticed. Why would she? We've passed several state lines. It was never a big deal then. No welcoming party, or even a government checkpoint. It suits me just fine. She hasn't brought up her surprise anymore either, whatever it was. Probably better to just let her forget about that. That doesn't mean the day is over yet. And places that geezer would always yak on about may as well be stapled into my brain.
Hey, you trust me?
Her head perks up, and she turns away from the window, answering without delay.
Of course I do. Why?
Just checking.
And that's that. No more questions. Just blind trust. Continue driving, eventually branching off onto an exit. Another thing I don't think Marina notices. Soon budding light starts popping up in the distance. Typical yellows and whites, barely hovering above the road with one exception. Towering on the horizon, outlined in neon red with digital numbers climbing towards the sky, is a giant monstrosity of a thermometer. It caps off about off above the middle, reaching temperatures all the way up to 62 degrees. Finally, it dawns on Marina. Her head twists towards me like an owl, her eyes just as wide as one.
Amber, what's going on?
She feigns concern at first, but her voice curls up mid-sentence, unable to hide her smile
You
any
said
longer.
you trust me, right?
And I do.
Marina tilts over and rubs up on my shoulder. I go dead stiff again, feeling the wealth of that trust and responsibility. Drive into town, which as far as I can tell is just one long street. Old beat-up gas stations and fast food joints line the side of the road, separated by an occasional diner. The thermometer is tucked away, hidden in a corner. This may as well be the center of the universe, the rest of the world zooming by on the interstate. I pull a lot by the thermometer. It's the only neighbor being a small shack. The sound of the ignition dwindles down to nothing, leaving the RV parked wherever. I'm the first one to get out, craving the sweet stationary concrete as I stretch my legs. Wobbling in front of the thermometer, I flop my hands at my sides, dotting
Here
her
we
eyeball.
are, the world's tallest thermometer.
Marina steps out of the RV, eyes sparkling, mouth wide open in awe. Her face frozen in time. She reaches into the motorhome and pulls out her camera, a single flash shooting out from it as she winds the camera for the
I
next
thought
shot.
you might like it.
A smug grin finds a home on my face as I revel in the pride and satisfaction of knowing I did something to make her smile. Except she's not smiling, she's staring, not at the thermometer now, but me. And her lifeless glaze cloaked by the dimming headlights of the motorhome.
Marina?
Readying her stance, she pushes her feet off the ground and charges
If
towards
we're
me.
doing this, then we're doing it right.
Wait, Marina!
Too late. Before I can even finish my plea, she swings around my neck, snugly brings me to her side, swishing at the camera and aiming it right at us.
Hey, Amber.
You are dating a puppy. This is what happens when you date puppies. Her fingers inch closer to the button.
Don't do it!
Say.
She draws out the word to an excruciating length. I struggle to break free, but she squeezes me tighter.
I'm warning you!
Hey, tease.
She bends in and presses her lips against my cheek. hold, and flash.
Huh.
I stare at the camera, mind blankly, my non-reaction drawing out a cute giggle from her. And then it hits me. Thoughts so mortifying and embarrassing that it shades my skin a pink and red gradient. She thinks this is cute. At this point, I'm butter, or clay from Marina's perspective. It's exactly what she treats me as, molding me into new positions so she snaps more photos. She's so happy. Before she winds for the next photo, I nudge her head with mine. She nudges back, both of us cuddling against each other as she snaps the next picture. She takes several more shots, each of them a little more gooberish and drenched in cheesy romantic goo than the last. I'll probably die if anyone ever sees these, but with any luck, Marina's constant bouncing will hopefully make a few of them come out fuzzy. Still, I think I might love this. Like, a lot. When we first met, I didn't think I'd ever understand the naive ball of energy just looking for some help. In a lot of ways, still don't. I drove by at such a perfect time. Who even knows what would have happened to her? Thinking about it still drives me nuts. But still, those types of things don't seem nearly as big as they used to. Even almost losing the treasure from Mariah was just a sizzling drop in a frying pan. If anything, I'm more upset that I wasn't there to help her when it went down. After all, that's why I'm here, to help and protect her. She makes me so happy. With my hand now wrapped around Marina, I clench her tighter, only for my hand to be met with an adorable gurgling rumble transmitted from her stomach. We both look down at the sword, her with a bashful sort of terror, me with the
Even after all that food at the buffet?
I can't help it.
You're a bottomless pit. The Marina Trench.
Amber, please. That one wasn't even clever.
Oh, dirty joke overload. Dirty joke overload! I cackle with glee, tossing her the keys to the RV as I walk to the nearby shack.
I'm just messing with you, babe. Go lock up. We'll grab a bite and sleep here for the night.
The shack is sad and abandoned, the cute logo of a little chef carrying an oversized bun all but faded away. I peek inside the branding windows. It's more the same, rusty and decaying. Outlines of tables and booths are imprinted with dust, while the ones built in the walls are just left to rot. It was always just a side thing he mentioned while talking about the thermometer, but not being able to experience everything he mentioned feels wrong. Like I'm not doing right by him. Damn.
Looks like that's one more thing I can check off your list.
Marina waltzes into the diner, keeping the door open for me as we scurry in from the breezy entryway. Immediately, she's drawn to the claw machine in the corner, filled to the brim with non-specific and unlicensed stuffed animals. Her eyes glitter as she tries to get me to notice a glass box of wonders. Coming from anyone else, this action would be subtle, maybe a few quick glances at most. Coming from Marina, not so much. Instead, she repeatedly swings her head in the direction of the machine, like she's trying to form a giant crescent moon with her neck. But I know Marina well enough to know exactly which one she wants. Snuggled tight between the fuzzy ball with the googly eyes and the lion with the crown lies the Holy Grail. A gray wolf with a polka dot bow tie. Unfortunately for her, our waitress is already waving us over to our seats. Marina stares into the glass, her foggy reflection lining up with the wolf. I take her hand and lead her to the booth. Once there's some distance between us and the waitress, I lower my voice.
Don't worry, I'll give it a whirl after we eat.
Marina, however, can't take a hint and blurts out a response, alerting every worthy soul in the diner.
Whoa, you actually know how to win at those? I've never been any good at them.
A counter lined with jumbo clones turns around and glares at us before shaking their heads and returning to their meals. Oh well.
Of course I do. You know how many of these diners I went to as a kid? When you eat at the same place almost every day, you get good. Fast.
Damn right.
Wow, you're like a claw goddess.
Damn right, girly pop. Damn right.
Damn right.
Marina oogles me like the claw goddess I am, and we take our seats at the booth. I gladly accept her glory and her praise. Praise me. Praise me! The waitress flops the menus on our tables and silently waits for us to order our drinks.
Just coffee for me.
With her eyes glazing over, she turns to Marina.
What kind of shakes do you have?
The waitress reaches her wrinkly hands across the table and tosses the dessert menu in front of Marina. She flips through the menus and strains her eyes shut, focusing on what very well may be the most important decision of her life.
Amber, you got coffee, right?
Right.
Then that's what I'll get.
Overflowing with certainty, she stares at the waitress and gives her a direct, confident command.
I'll have the coffee shake. Extra whipped cream.
Damn right. The waitress doesn't even bother to write this down, instead dragging her body back to the tomb in the kitchen. It's an undead restaurant. It's a whole thing.
You know that shake isn't gonna taste the same as my coffee, right? It's just gonna be a ton of ice cream and cheap coffee flavoring.
Don't ruin her magical world.
Yeah. But I at least gotta try it, for your sake.
Why would you choke down a crappy shake for my sake?
You do everything for me. Everything.
Fair.
Of course I do. That's my job.
Stiff chuckle slips out from under her breath.
But I want to do things for you too.
So you're ordering the coffee shake as a cosmic favor. You're losing me, Mare.
She whines momentarily, frustration seeping into her face.
No, not like that. It's silly, but I want to poke around in your mind a little. That way I can do favors and help.
That's actually kind of cute. I like that.
So I guess it's not just for your sake, but for both of our sakes.
That's actually really cute. I really like that. She smiles and rests her head against to the side, as if expecting my shoulder to be there like always. Realizing she's only leaning on air, Marina blinks and then tries to play it off with a tiny cough.
I saw that.
Before I can take my teasing to more exciting places, the waitress returns from the kitchen, barely managing to balance her drinks on the platter as my coffee splashes everywhere. She doesn't seem to care. She places our drinks on the table, then limps out her notepad and pen to take our orders.
Thanks, but I'll stick with coffee.
Marina's too distracted by the shake to notice. Her eyes climb up the tower of extra whipped cream as it whirls to the ceiling, rivaling the thermometer outside.
Snap two. What do you want?
Oh!
She opens up the big menu and flips through the pages multiple times, front to back, side to side, even upside, repeating the process every time. Really? How'd it go?
Before we miss the
Good
festival,
to see you,
Mare.
Poonages. Hope you're having a good day.
I know, but there's just so much to choose from. I have to be picky.
You didn't have a problem vacuuming up everything at the buffet.
Marina drops the menu. If it were a few pounds heavier, I'm pretty sure she would have dropped it on my feet. Handing the menus to the waitress, she leans over the table, inches away from my face. She places her order, her pupils burn with intensity.
I'll have the pancake sandwich.
Ooh, pancake sandwich. Dead serious. The waitress wobbles away, somehow not collapsing on her way back to the kitchen. It was some nice nostalgia. Good to hear. Good to hear. I took a look around for it myself last night and found a link on it on an archive site. Sorry, my brain got stuck in a loop there. So I'm going to try and give it a try myself later. Definitely worth seeing the first 5 minutes of stream just for the soundtrack, lol. Darn right. Marina's cheeks buff out, getting brighter as I bubble
You have
over.
to tease me about everything, Amber.
Because it's cute. Think I'll do a long stream of it one day, try to take over the house? Kick butt, take names. I break, my laugh echoes across the diner. Again, we're met with glares, but I don't even care.
Fine. Maybe I won't share the treasure with you after all.
I wave off her empty threats and settle down.
I'm sorry. It's just that...
Done laughing, I rest my chin on the table and start fumbling with the salt and pepper shakers.
That's what Gramps used to order. All the time.
Marina has already reverted back to her usual self, watching me pass the salt and pepper back and forth like she wants to join in too. Ah, yes, the old archive site. I found so much nonsense on there, it's delightful.
It's so weird. Just 2 huge pancakes with eggs, bacon, and ham smashed in the middle. Things drenched in syrup.
And delightful.
That sounds super tasty, though.
It really does. And now I'm hungrier. I chuckle and slide her the pepper.
I'm sure you'll love it.
Now it's just a salt shaker sliding
He
between my
never
hands.
eats the eggs. Always just passes them on to me. They're so gross. Just scrambled and cold and sticky. I always tell him no, but the dork just laughs and says he's gonna keep egging me on.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Marina laughed at the stupid joke.
We would just end up
too.
bringing it home in a box. And when it went bad, he would just take it out of the fridge and say, "That's all, yokes!" Like it was the most clever freaking thing.
Aw. She laughed even harder at that one. I think I do too. Keep my eyes focused on the shaker, sliding it faster
When
and
we
faster.
go home, you two really need to get together and meet.
The salt shaker trips on my pinky and topples over, spilling a few grains of salt. Marina's tense but forces a smile anyway. She sighs. We both look down and go silent.
I think I'm gonna head back to the RV.
No. I get up and reach into my pocket, placing a bill on the table.
Amber?
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Just need some time.
Leaving Marina behind me, I walk out to the diner. Blazing hot tears stream down my cheeks as I stumble through the motorhome. I'm choking. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. How could I forget, even for a second? Am I really that... No, sweetie, you're not heartless. When you lose someone who is very close to you, it's an open wound. And that wound, eventually you get used to it a little bit at a time. But it's always going to leave But no matter how long it takes, it's always going to leave scar tissue. And when I lost my grandfather, I felt guilty for a super long time because he wanted to watch a movie that I've watched 1,000,000 times, and we watched 1,000,000 times already together, and I was bored of it, and I just wanted to go to bed. And then that night he didn't wake up, and it may have taken a couple of days. But he passed when I was at work, and I felt so fucking heartless. It was a movie about the patrol boats, you know, the type that JFK used to captain. That would go up and down doing river patrols and messing with German forces and Italian forces during World War II, and I still have it in my movie collection. I haven't had the heart to watch it since he passed. It's been a couple years now, but there are times when I'm going about and I'm thinking, you know, hey, oh cool, I found this cool thing that involves bees, or this cool thing that involves science that he'll really be into and he'll really be happy about. And I'm thinking, you know, hey, this will be something cool that I should remember to tell him about. And you think for just a second, he'll love it so much, and he's not there. It comes crashing back, and it hurts, and that wound opens right back up. So no, you're not heartless, and there's no time frame. There's no expected timeline where you have to get over the pain of losing someone. So remember, it's going to be okay, and you're not terrible. But you will move on. You will move forward. You'll never truly get over it, though. I want to throw up. I can barely stand, tearing down all the magnets on the fridge as I trip over my own tears. Next thing I know, I'm falling into the bed. Even though I land on its stiff concrete springs, I still feel like I'm falling. The ceiling is getting further and further away as I sink deeper. I jerk myself up, faced with the photo that's comforted and haunted me for so long. For a second, I smile again too, but then I remember, and it fades just as quickly. The tears start flowing again, harder than ever before. It does not muffle my crying, covering my shame, or even make me feel any better. I just cry. The cracks have been forming for a while, and now I've shattered. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to glue myself back together. It never occurred to me just how hard it would be when he was gone. Growing up, I wasn't just his responsibility. We were each other's responsibility. How many credit cards did I max up in the last few months? Even after he told me to stop, I kept pushing. Bank calls, doctor calls, middle of the night ER visits, everything. But nothing helped. Nothing. I tried so hard, but in the end, I just had to watch my best friend, the only person who ever wanted me, wither away. He held up his end of the bargain, though. Every discovery, every stupid heartbreak, and every fight with Ma, he'd always take care of me, and always just loved me. Couldn't hold up mine, though. I failed. No, you didn't, dear heart. Every now I keep finding holes in everything I did. I could have found a specialty hospital. I could have read up more on new forms of medicine, too. It wouldn't have mattered. I could have, but I didn't. And now he's gone. My pants are damp. They've been soaking up all my tears, but I don't care. Just want my grandpa back. The motorhome door opens and brushes against the outside wall, followed by soft footsteps that creak along the floor. Marina. Try to act quickly, sneaking final few sniffs in before wiping away my tears. But it's no use. They just keep trickling down. She appears in the doorway. I turn away and drown out the sobbing with my hand. It's so embarrassing. She shouldn't have to see me like this. But I don't think I can muster enough composure to ask her to leave without breaking down. Marina reaches out for me, drenched with worry, but still realization sets in, where I soften, reflecting a deep sense of genuine empathy and love. Silent, she sits down next to me and wraps her arms around me on my head before I can swim away. Cradling me on her lap, she caresses my hair and cheeks with the tips of her fingers. My crying stops as I process it all, feeling nothing but softness embracing me. Marina begins humming, gentle and breathing. I recognize the song instantly. It's from Gramps' favorite tape. She probably doesn't know the significance behind it. I've never even told her, but she remembered it. After all the times I've looped it, she remembered. The tears come back, but quieter this time. She keeps humming regardless. It's a little choppy, her voice breaking off in some places due to a lack of air. I adore her all the same. I cry, and I cry, and I cry, letting myself go for the first time since it all happened, all while listening to her hum, hiding in my warm, safe bubble, with Marina bundled tight around me. Right now, she's the most important person in the world to me. So much warmth. I don't just feel moved. I feel a resounding sense of something that's even more special than that. I want to build on it. Turning around, I work my way up and kiss Marina's neck. The humming, caressing stop. This time I move to collarbone. She winces back, tensing up, pull away. For a moment I feel like crying again, this time of a different shade of guilt, but Marina looks back at me and smiles. I stir back, she gives a short nod, cranes her neck out. Then with a nod of my own, I lean back in, turning to her neck. Yay! Fuck the pain away! The glow from the half-open skylight creeps in from above and shines down a strand of light onto the blanket. It divides the bed in two and slowly spreads out across the room, casting off the morning shadows. My palm is wet and sweaty. Moving my fingers reveals my hand is still interlocked with Marina's. She never let go. I turn over and face her. She's still sleeping, curled on her side, and laying on her arm, just so she can keep holding my hand. Soft and rhythmic, her breath brushes against my face. If I could, I'd watch her for hours, trying not to wake her. I unchain my fingers, wiggling them until the numbness sets in and pricks away at my sleeping hand. Marina's nose winkles and the steady breathing stops. Swallowing, her eyes flutter open and she smiles. The day's first word slips out of her with a yawn.
Morning.
Sorry, did I wake you up?
She snuggles in closer and takes a deep breath, keeping her deep, wide eyes on me.
You sleep okay?
After the fire wave, Marina seemed unsure for a bit. When I look at her now, none of that is there anymore. She's completely trusting. It's a little terrifying that I gained the trust so fast, especially considering that she's a puppy person. Especially since we pivoted around each other for so long. That kind of trust, that kind of responsibility, it's a very special thing. I had it with Gramps, and now Marina has given the same thing to me. From taking her to a gas station, finding treasure, even fending off weirdos, she's put her trust in me to be responsible for all of it. Sometimes I wonder if I deserve it. Sometimes I have moments where I know I don't. Like when I can't find some lousy treasure. Like when I'm not around to help her out of a jam. Like when nothing I do can save someone, no matter how hard I try. And it's okay to not always be the hero, and it's okay to be not okay. Like when I just can't function. Like last night. Marina picks up on my silence. Her expression fades from trust to concern.
Something wrong?
A lot of things.
Nah, it's all good. Slept fine.
I lean over to kiss her forehead, but pull back halfway. Ripping off the blanket, I leap out of bed and stretch. Renee turns crimson red and eats, throwing the covers over herself so their clothes from last night lay in heaps around the room. I dig through the cupboard and toss her a change of clothes before slipping into my own and beginning our morning
We got a big day ahead of us. Assuming traffic isn't crap, we should be in Palm Springs by late noon.
She peeks out from the blankets and grabs her
And
clothes.
then the festival.
Almost. We have about a day to kill.
I run the coffee maker and head to the bathroom, start brushing my teeth. Behind me, Marina is changing into her clothes. I can clearly see in the mirror. But after last night, I'm not sure it matters anymore if I accidentally catch a glimpse of her.
So, do you know what bands you'd like to see yet?
My voice is garbled, muffled by the toothbrush stuffed into the corner of my mouth.
Kinda. I have a few ideas.
Spit. Most of which are just bands me and Gramps liked.
We should look at the lineup later. See if there aren't a few bands you might want to check out.
Finished changing, she scoots in behind me, directing our eyes to the mirror as she rests her head on my shoulder.
It's fine. I'll watch whoever you want to watch, Amber.
I watch the mirror as my face goes blank. Marina nuzzles against my cheek, bringing with her an aching burden that presses down on my entire being! Why does she believe in me so much, even when I'm such a wreck? The coffee maker beaks, saving me from being crushed by my own thoughts. Therapy, therapy, everyone needs therapy. Therapy, therapy, everyone needs therapy.
Anyway, get ready. We're gonna hit the road as soon as you're done.
I rush to the sink, steam rising out of the cup as my shaky hands pour the coffee, spluttering most of it on the counter. Steadying myself doesn't work. My body won't listen. The burning coffee splashes on my skin as I wrench it to my mouth. It scalds my tongue and blisters down my throat. The pain sizzles all the way to my stomach. Gasp out a short scream, quickly muffle it with my hand. With tears forming, I turn to make sure Marina didn't hear it over the running water. Once I'm sure I wipe my eyes, after several sharp breaths, I pour myself another cup. I scalded myself and didn't want my girlfriend to hear because I'm a psycho. I drag myself over the driver's seat and slam my cup into the holder, then plant my head onto the steering wheel. Tonks. The handles form the bathroom squeak, and the sound of water is reduced to a drip. A few months later, Marina trots down the motorhome and hops into her seat. I jerk up my head.
Yep. But... are you sure nothing's wrong?
Oh, a lot of things are wrong. Forcing a smile, I turn the key and put the RV
Don't
into
worry,
drive.
everything's fine. Just a little tired.
Marina studies me for a few seconds, then shrugs and looks out the window, happily staring at the giant thermometer outside. I pick up Gramps' favorite tape and put it in the player, still staring at Marina. Frowning, I catch a glimpse of myself in the rearview mirror. Please don't hurt her. Please.
Oh, and it says here that there are giant dinosaur statues just up ahead.
Oh, that's great.
Everything she's been saying with the past few hours has been zooming right past me. It's not that I don't understand it. I've read that guidebook she's been pointing to about 1,000 times as a kid, but it's all being drowned out by the music and my constant thinking. The drive hasn't done much to soothe the budding anxiety inside me. In fact, it's just made it worse. 4 states worth of desert and endless stretches of road, it's maddening to see that it all got mulled over by overpasses and the slowest, most painful and rage-inducing traffic I've ever seen. With nothing but Gramps' tape to keep me grounded, it's been a battle not to go mental. My mind keeps wandering back to Marina, how we're together, what exactly that means, her trust, my responsibility. And the more I think about it, the more that I...
Oh, wow! Amber, look at how white the sand is. It's just like snow.
Her observations haven't been helping either. Whenever I'm about to make a breakthrough, I'll convince myself I'm just thinking too odd, she pipes in and suddenly, I'm right back where I started in Colorado. At least I can take solace in the scenery, going back to something more familiar as we get closer to Palm Springs. Like Marina said, the sand is a lot whiter, and almost soft as cotton. It fades into fields of rocks and dry plants, trailing into expansive mountain ranges. All this, just off the side of the road. Feels like the kind of desert people wander around and go crazy in. Something I can very much sympathize with. After all, wandering in a desert and going crazy is how I met Marina. I think that's where the seeds of trust and responsibility were sown. At least I like to think that's why she trusts me, because I helped her. And it's through the next few weeks that the trust was built upon, cultivating in something maybe even greater than that. Marina became important to me, someone I had to protect.
Whoa, look at all the windmills.
I clenched down on the steering wheel. By doing what we did last night, did I betray that sense of greater than trust? She saw me crying. She comforted. Yeah, I made a move and... oh God. The realization was like a punch to a gut. I want to swerve off to the side of the road and hurl my guts out. I used her. I used Marina.
Amber, look.
She tugs on my sleeve and points out the window. As far as I can see into the hazy distance, an army of windmills line the sand and stretch all the way to the hilltops. Their wings spin down in unison, circling with a steady wind. It's enough to snap me out of it, at least for a few seconds. Once the initial novelty wears off, I'm right back to where I've been for hours.
I've never seen so many.
Marina sounds completely blown away. Enchanted even. It's cute, but I need to think this through. Really think this through.
Hey, do you think we could actually be quiet for a little while?
Oh, sure. That's fine.
Thanks.
Mixed signals. She goes back to looking at the window, swaying to the music. So pure, innocent. And I took advantage of that. Is that all I've been doing this entire time? Using her to make myself feel better? I don't even want to consider it, but it adds up. I was lonely, didn't have anyone else, saw a cute girl, picked her up, and consequently used her to curb that, all while telling myself that I was just helping and protecting her. Yeah, I get that. I get that feeling very well. Because you're completely anxious and believe you're a shitty person. Amber, it's not everything is your fault. Aw, that's cute. Mother bats lowering their pitch when talking to their young. That's so cute. I love it. Then I convinced myself of more, hoping to forget the most important thing. Tick clicks to a stop, jolting me back to reality. I eject it and flip it around, fumbling with the tape as I shove it back into the player. Press play. Starts off the same as always, staying static, the first note, everything. But soon, the audio starts to slip, like someone is sliding on the tape. The music jarbles into something distorted and ugly, speeding up, slowing down, going backwards all at once. I frantically push the eject button over and over, but it's too late. The deck spits out the tape, a string of tattered ribbon tangled around it. Marina's too captivated by something outside to notice what happened, but I feel all of it. I frantically push the eject button over and over, but it's... Marina's too captivated by something outside to notice what happened, but I feel all of it. Tears start to swell up deep inside me, but it just morphs into fury.
Check it out! That mountain still has snow!
God damn it! Shut up!
Fuck. The universe were conspiring against me. A deafening explosion blasts in front of us. Tremors shake the motorhome. We bounce in our seats as I grip the wheel and pound on the brakes, swerving out of traffic. Our hearts almost collide. Grasping for air, Marina turns to me for answers.
Not now!
I tear off my seatbelt and rush outside. Smoke rises from the engine, tearing into my lungs as I open the hood.
Ah, shit!
Marina runs to my side, waving away the smoke. Her jaw drops.
Oh my god! What happened?
What do you think happened? The engine blew!
I put them bumper. It leaves a small dent, like my numb foot is made of steel.
What? But how?
How the hell would I know?
She flinches back, but manages to put on a hopeful smile.
We have some tools. Maybe we can fix it.
Laughing, I lean in and scoff in her face.
Oh, you know how to fix the engine, Marina?
No, but I thought maybe you could.
Do I look like a mechanic to you?
No, you look like a crazy person. Marina wraps herself in the security of her arms, looks to the windmills, their wings casting thick, brief shadows over
I
us.
just thought...
You thought? The last time you thought, you ended up broken down on the side of the road!
Hey, Amber? Amber, I get you're hurting. I get you're in pain. But now is not the time to explode at your girlfriend. Because you are having a breakdown, love.
So maybe it would be better for the both of us if you continued not to think!
Wow, that's fucking cruel. She can hardly look at me. Her voice lowers to a fragile whisper, cracking as she speaks.
I just wanted to help.
Unless you can magically pull a phone out of your ass and call a tow truck, then you can't. And even if you could, you would probably just let it get stolen.
Hey, Amber. Fuck off. No response.
You want to make yourself useful? Go back into the RV.
I get that, Pylon. She's pretty darn badly hurt, and I get that, but she's, we aren't responsible for how we feel. We're responsible for how we react to those feelings, and Amber is not doing so in a healthy manner. She hasn't been doing so throughout the entirety of the game. Marina keeps her eyes to the ground without saying another word. She slinks back to her seat. I sigh and space myself out in front of the motorhome, waving my hands back and forth as cars speed by, ignoring my signal. Even I can't follow my stupid advice.
Yeah, alright. I understand. Thanks.
Untangling the cord, I set the phone down and sit on the bed and sigh into my hands. Hotel sheets are surprisingly soft, a hell of a lot softer than the stiff rags I've been sleeping on lately. Downtown Palm Springs, a 5-star hotel. We were lucky they had a vacancy, let alone checked us in this late. Of course, a nugget of gold can go a long way in the art of persuasion. I would have sprung for a cheap motel, but every place has a no vacancy signs lit up, and well, I guess I just wanted to pamper Marina one last time, especially for what I'm about to do. The bathroom door creaks open and Marina walks onto the carpet, her hair still damp and stringy. Noticing me, she stares down, avoiding eye contact. I do the same, letting the silence overtake the room until one of us is forced to say something.
How was the shower?
It was nice. Got hot really fast.
Unlike the RV shower, which is probably a nightmare. Oh my. This is going to be awkward as hell. The room goes silent again. Neither of us can look at the other, but we're both stuck, trapped until one of us can get past the awkwardness. Marina's the first to look up.
Will the motorhome be okay?
Yeah. They said the engine overheated. Should be able to fix it.
That's good.
The first words we've said to each other in hours. Even after I flagged down a car and got someone to call a tow truck for us, we just sat in unbearable silence the entire ride over. But it was the silence that gave me time to reflect about how wrong I was, how wrong I have been, and what it is I really need to do.
I'm sorry about yelling at you earlier. I was angry.
Yeah, myself.
I shouldn't have taken that out on you.
I was being annoying. I should have stopped talking when you asked me to.
No! You've never done anything wrong. It was always me.
Always.
Don't be so dramatic.
She flails her arms over her forehead and falls dead onto my shoulder.
Everyone gets mad sometimes. Don't beat yourself up over it.
I shake my head and pull away.
It's not about getting mad. It's that I didn't live up to my end of the bargain. Again.
You don't have to have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Amber?
I look at the curtains and sigh. We're not missing anything. Just an ugly view of the parking lot. It was always her who was the issue. Little bit. She is coming in this with a overdue sense of responsibility.
I just got off the phone. I bought a bus ticket home for you. One way.
Huh?
The cab should be here 10:30 tomorrow morning to take you to the station.
Marina shakes out a stilted laugh. She's not smiling, though.
You're just teasing me again, right?
I ignore her and continue.
You can call your parents with the phone. I don't mind paying the extra charge.
You're serious?
Bug-eyed, Marina freezes, the truth slowly settling in.
What about the festival? The treasure?
She snaps back, desperate to find some kind of rope to pull me back in.
You can keep it. All of it. I don't care. I'll go to the festival, go home, and get a job. I'll just pay everything off that way.
Right, how it should have been, to begin with, when this trip was about Gramps and not me. I don't care how long it takes. I owe him and Marina that much. Stop thinking the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you absolutely crazy person. Therapy should be mandatory for all fucking people. Marina sniffles. The tears are starting to leak out, but she braces herself, trying to remain strong.
What about us?
Yeah.
What about it?
I feel like I just ripped my heart in half. For Marina, it looks like her entire world has been nuked. It makes me want to hug her and tell her over and over that I didn't mean it, that she can always count on me, but I can't.
Why?
Because your girlfriend has unresolved guilt. She has unresolved guilt that's basically telling her to turn off her emotions and that she doesn't deserve anything good. Because she basically believes herself a consistent failure to those around her because she's not ever really had anyone who's kind of been like... Well, her grandfather has kind of been stepped in, but I think there's kind of a primal wound from when her mother kind of was like, yeah, I don't want you, I don't need you, I've never wanted to take responsibility for my child. So it feels like she has to provide for everybody, but no, it can never count on anyone else because they'll constantly let her down.
It doesn't matter.
It does. Fucking talk to your girlfriend.
Tell me!
I said no.
Why not?
Because you wouldn't understand.
No, she would. She'd completely understand.
Look, you'll be fine. Just keep your head down and don't talk to anybody.
Stop treating me like a fucking child!
Thank you! Angry tears streaked down her face. Though heavy breathing, she recalled oils, shocked by her own words. Yeah, basically, Marina has, throughout a long period of her life, been forced to kind of, as the youngest, and probably not as intellectually gifted as her siblings, but just as excitable and loving life, had to suppress a lot of her own anger and a lot of her own desire for, wish to be respected. And yeah, fucking finally, I'm right there with you, Paimon.
I didn't mean...
She steps closer and strokes my cheek, turning my face to hers, and I try to hide my watery
Amber,
eyes.
please, don't do this. I love you.
Please stop, don't make this
How
harder.
can I understand if you don't tell me?
Yeah, exactly. She barely manages to speak, the tears now in free fall as she chokes out the words.
Let me help.
I squeeze my hand into a fist, tripping as I back away to the door.
I'm sorry.
Amber,
Her knees buckle and she crumbles to the ground, bawling. She squeaks out another plea.
stop.
Yeah, you're kind of tearing out her heart. You're being a massive bitch here, Amber.
I'm sorry.
I throw open the door and sprint down the hallway, leaving Marina sobbing as I wipe away the tears of my own.
I'm sorry.
Oh, God. The crowd moves on. I don't bother raising my head, allowing myself to be dragged along wherever they're going. My hand is tucked deep within my pocket, playing around with a cassette and a string of tattered ribbon. The hotel is far in the distance now, lit up against the darkening sky. Marina's probably still up there crying. I let go of the tape and forced myself to keep walking through the clammy misters attached to shops and bars. It's not my business. It's what's best for her. But it hurts. Everything hurts. I keep expecting Marina to come skip after me and lean on my shoulders so we can explore the town. Or better yet, chew me out and punch me until I feel like I can justify what I've done. But I know that's not going to happen. She's too sweet for that. She's Marina. And I don't want anything to ever change that. Me especially. I can't be trusted with something that precious and not screwed up. Not again. God fucking hell, Amber. I hate that I see my own brain in you. A shrieking laugh shatters my trance. Wiping around, I find a small building squashed between a thrift shop and a pawn shop. I pull off to the side and peek in, wanting nothing more than to forget about everything. It's smaller than the RV, the entire middle dedicated to 4 mismatched bars set up in a square, surrounded by cheesy in-island decor, and streamers hanging from the ceiling. Under it all, a legion of girls. Tall girls, girly girls, redheads, blondes, brunettes, all crammed inside and chatting each other up in a festival of free-flowing drinks. Yay! I can fuck the sad away!
Oh.
I get to see myself blush in real time thanks to the window. The rest of the bar probably does too. I might look like an idiot. I don't leave though. Sitting at the bar beneath the red and pink party lights is a slim girl with shaggy, rainbow-dyed hair. She sways on her stool and she laughs with the bartender, the shape of her ass outlined in tight jeans. I can't buy her a drink, but then again, this is a place for her. Maybe Catching a glimpse of me, she turns to the window and gives me a big bright smile. Images of Marina flash through my head. Images from last night at first, her holding me kissing her neck. And then the Valley of Fire, finding all the pieces of treasure, helping her on the side of the road. But the images that stick out most are the quiet times. Me driving on the highway while Marina sways back and forth to my music. I back away, then take off as fast as I can. Am I that disgusting? Was that all Marina was to me? I slap myself. When it barely stings, I do it again, smacking myself so hard that tears bead in my eyes. Blinking them back, I swallow and keep running. One by one, the shops vanish behind me. The sidewalk thins, then disappears. Everything is too dark. Eventually, it's too dark even to see the ground, and I'm running under the unfiltered starlight. When I finally stop, my shoes are heavy with sand. I wilt over and suck in huge, gasping breaths. Forcing myself to look over my shoulders, I realize I'm surrounded by sand dunes and rocky hill ranges. I finally left the city far behind me. My footprints prove that. Saguaro cacti are scattered at random, like sorrowful people brooding under the moonlight, their prickly limbs reaching for the sky. Everyone should get some therapy, therapy, therapy. Everyone needs to get some therapy. Good Godfrey, this is breaking me. Good Godfrey. Okay. I settle my breathing and listen to the sounds of the desert. A gust of wind stirring in the dry air, the crackly yelp of a coyote, whimsical horns and hypnotic guitar strums. Faint ska music. Wait. No, I really am disgusted. Squinting at the horizon, I catch a glimpse of an unmoving light. It's faint and alone, but it's definitely here. Pressured by some kind of mechanism harbored deep within me, I follow the light. The closer I get, the more I know I should turn back, but my fears are proven to be right as I approach the sound. A black motorhome with stripes, just as hideous as the music blasting from it. With each screech, a trumpet. My ears bleed a little bit more. Every time a guitar plays this stupid, unchanging rhythm, I die inside. But the worst part is something I've never even been subjected for. Singing, if you can call it that. Not from the song, but a familiar brain-piercing wail masking over it. It's awful, like a dying siren trying to reel in one last sailor. Covering my ears doesn't help. I can only wince in agony as it reaches a high note, probably killing any wildlife in the general area. Someone needs to stop this. I march to the door, wondering why I'm even going to bother. After everything she's pulled, why should I, when I can just go about my life? Then she reaches the chorus. Yeah, that's why. I give the door 3 solid bangs. Singing stops.
Ha! I knew you numbskulls couldn't live without me!
They all left, didn't they? Mariah swings the door open. She's flushed, dangling a glass bottle from her hand, only to be silenced by a single sniff upon seeing me.
You suck at treasure hunting and singing. Go figure.
She slams the door in my face. I knock again. It's delayed, but she reopens the door, her head cautiously peeking halfway
You've
out.
taken everything from me. What else could you possibly want?
Your soul.
Give me the treasure and you got a deal. I'll throw in the slackers, too.
That's probably not gonna happen.
She leans out the door, nearly stumbling over as she peers from side to side.
Where's your better half?
I look down. How do I even answer that? Mariah growls and limps towards the refrigerator.
Come in.
May as well. No one is waiting for me anymore. Yelling at Mariah is as good a distraction as any. I climb in. My nose is instantly assaulted with the smell of rancid beer, and whiskey, and vodka. There might even be traces of a skunk. I start to breathe through my mouth. The couch and the cot are both empty. No lackeys to feed into Mariah's delusions in sight.
Where are the other 2?
Head in the depths of her fridge, Mariah and Lisa.
Tess wanted to see some stupid walk of fame, so Joe took her.
Yeah, probably a good idea to get her out
Palm
of there.
Springs has a walk of fame?
According to the squirt.
She leans back out of the fridge.
How old are you?
19. Why?
Close enough. Drink.
With a loose toss that I actually have to dive for, she tosses me a bottle. The pint is in Spanish, carved in the thick glass just above the label. I try pronouncing it, but it comes out depressingly American.
You should be worshipping me. That's the good stuff.
I'm ecstatic.
I think she's too far gone to notice the flatness in my voice. But even if she did, I doubt she'd care, with something resembling happiness on her face as she cradles half a dozen or so bottles to the couch.
You gonna drink all that? Haven't you had enough?
Go die. You stole my equipment and my treasure. I'm not letting you steal my 40 ounces to freedom.
Hooray! Crimes! It's good to see you, friend. How are you doing today? I shrug and flop down beside her. Mariah drunkenly reaches for the remote, misses it twice, and switches off the music, and hurls the remote across the room.
Finally, thank you.
Oh, I can imagine.
I hate ska.
Sit down, relax, and get something cool to drink, then. Mariah snarls at me like a toothless piranha.
It's reggae, you uncultured brat!
She slumps
This
back
guy's
down.
okay, too.
Uncultured. You were the one who wanted to blow up Shiprock.
It was a suggestion. I don't have nearly enough TNT for that.
The fact you even have it is what bothers me.
Darn right.
Whatever, at least I know what I listen to is good. I like whatever you're into.
Oh, I can assure you, what I listen to is better than ska.
Everything is better than ska.
Reggae!
Jazz fusion, new age, world music, all better than your circus noise.
You actually like that hippy-dippy crap? What Volkswagen did you fall out of?
The one that hit your mother when she was pregnant with you, apparently.
Do not do what I think you're gonna do. We both click our tongues without looking. She pops my cap with a bottle opener, then hers. Giving a half-assed clink of our bottles, we take a swig. Swampy drink trails down my throat, setting my chest on fire. My experience with alcohol is really limited. Gramps didn't keep a lot of booze around, and when he did, it was always mead or wine. I only snuck some out at a few times for special dates.
Gotta say, you're a lot less bearable without the dits holding you on a leash.
Shut up!
She barely held the flame to the fuse, but that single word is enough to make something inside of me go off.
Don't you talk about her that way! She's a kinder, more caring person than you'll ever be!
Mariah scrunches her nose like my outburst didn't make any sense to her dumb drunk
That's
face.
not a very high bar.
She's not wrong, but couldn't she have at least tried defending herself? I groaned and let my blood simmer down, but not before spitting out one more shot of
Whatever.
venom.
It's not like you're any better. You're a mess without the other two keeping you in check.
Hey! Don't get any ideas. I'm the one keeping them in check. They'd be dead by now if it weren't for me.
Sure, Mariah. I pinched the bridge of my nose to shake my head with a short laugh. Whether or not I choose to accept that Mariah exists in my reality, she's at least something familiar. Comforting probably isn't the right word for it, but she's someone to talk
Why are
to.
you here anyway?
Who even knows? Joel mentioned something about a music orgy thing.
Music orgy? You mean the festival?
Yeah, that.
Huh. And you went along with it? I guess that makes sense. You guys are a thing, right?
Building up from a bunch of snorts, Mariah bursts out laughing.
Me and that slacker wouldn't be a thing if the planets collided, wiped out everything, formed a mega planet, and we had to repopulate.
I think you're protesting a little too much. Why do I get the feeling this exact scenario has been played out in her journal multiple times?
Besides, there's more important things to focus on.
Like treasure.
Or at least,
She looks at the drawer again, then
there
glares
were.
at me. I had the temptation to laugh in her face and take another gulp.
So nothing, huh? You grew up with someone and don't feel the tiniest thing for them?
I mean, they might be kind of siblings. She takes another swig, but this time just gives the wall a dry,
If
blank
he's
stare.
still single in 10 years, maybe I'll marry him out of pity.
Sure, buddy. I bet you'd marry the treasure in a heartbeat, though. Probably do more than just marry it.
What about you and the Dits? Aren't you two going to the music orgy together?
Damn right. Her eyes narrow.
I'll kill you if that's what you're using my treasure for, by the way.
Oh, God. I don't answer, looking at the now empty bottle
What?
instead.
You two have a fight?
A little bit.
Something like that.
I bet it was because of the gold. No honor among thieves, I'll tell you.
No, nothing like that. It's hard to explain.
Well, I don't really care, but go ahead and moan if you want. It's not any different than what you usually do.
I look at Mariah. She doesn't seem particularly interested in drowning more beers than anything. She's a maniac, that has always been, and still it's abundantly clear. She probably would tear apart the entire Southwest if left unattended. Hell, maybe even the entire nation. She's no Joe. No way she could hold up an actual conversation. No way she could accidentally offer some good advice. No way she feels any sympathy. Still, I feel like I can vent to her. Not trust her, not after all the RV chases and games of blackjack, but vent. She doesn't care, but maybe that's what makes it so appealing. I stay silent and stare at the ceiling. mulling over everything that's happened, searching for the right words. Words I couldn't even give to Marina.
I said that I don't care. Not that I'm willing to wait all night so you can steal my time, too.
Just give me a minute. I'm not really used to this.
Taking a deep breath, I look past Mariah, unwilling to let her see my shame. The single shred of pride I have left snaps, and I let all the weakness come fumbling out.
I met Marina a little after my grandpa died.
My chest tightens.
He was my best friend. My parents didn't want me, but he did.
You should be telling Marina this. You
He
should have
raised me in
told
that
it to
motorhome.
her for a while.
He didn't have to, but he took care of me anyway.
Mariah sips at her beer, listening in silence. No smarmy remarks or deluded
So
rambling.
when I was a kid, I decided I was going to take care of him too. Gratitude, you know?
You were a baby. And people get sick. People dying isn't your fault, dear.
Gratitude for a lot of things. His love, his acceptance, the music.
I stifle a laugh.
God, the music. The goof could spout random trivia about the weirdest music. Bands you've never even heard of. But I loved it. And I loved him. It sounds dumb. A little girl feeling responsible for some full-grown geezer.
Yeah.
I didn't care, though. I wanted to prove how much he meant to me. And that's how it worked for the longest time. But then he got sick.
As people do. I funnel down the beer and reach for another one. Mariah shoves her hand in front of me and pops off the cap right as the next cycle of heartbreak starts closing in. I whisk back the bottle and force it down. Soapy foam rushes to the top, and it spills over as I pull it back. Mariah only shrugs.
That festival? He was the one who bought those tickets. It was gonna be our trip. That didn't happen. I failed at my job. But I could at least take the trip for him and try to make up for it.
You didn't fail. People die. It's what happens.
Then I met Marina.
A smile slips onto my face. Despite everything, even just saying her name makes me feel cheerful.
She was really cute and needed a ride, not to mention oblivious. Maybe it was just instinct, but I wasn't gonna let someone so innocent fend for themselves in the desert.
Maybe that's kind of a little bit what he felt like.
I didn't plan on sticking around for long, but when we found the first part of the treasure, I don't know. I told myself I was gonna stick with her because I had to pay off Gramps' hospital bills and funeral. But the truth is, I stuck with her because it felt like it was a second chance. I could do some good. Help and protect someone who really needed it. And the closer I got with Marina, the more I felt like she was my responsibility. But even more than that, when I was with her,
My voice cracks, trembling under the weight of my words.
I was happy. It was like Gramps was never even gone. Then I remembered he was, and I completely shut down. Marina tried comforting me, but I just took advantage of her.
Yeah, and maybe if you'd fucking talked with her
When I
about it.
woke up, I realized that's what I'd been doing this entire time.
You should tell
I
her
was
this.
never protecting her. I was just using her to cope with Gramps. So I bought her a ticket home. She yelled and cried, but I did it anyway.
Yeah, because you didn't fucking communicate with her.
I didn't just fail Gramps. I made this trip about me, and I hurt Marina.
Because this trip is a little bit about you. It's also a little bit about her. It's also a little bit about your grandfather. It's about a lot of things. And you should have had this conversation with Marina.
I don't deserve
and you may
to
have
be
fucked
happy.
fucked completely
I
everything
don't
up.
deserve her.
Anytime you say I don't deserve to be happy, it should kind of be a wake-up call that you are in a spiral, and that this is not a safe place to be, and you should probably back out a little bit. But that is talking from like rational part of my brain, and when you're in this mode, you're not rational, and that's okay. Soaking in the silence, I blink away an annoying watery speck in my eye and fight back a few sniffles.
You done?
Oh, fuck off, Mariah!
Yeah.
Mariah polishes off the rest of her drink and slams it down, rattling the other empty bottles on the table. Smacking her lips, she stretches her neck. Each bone cracks, one after the other, sounding off in a delayed trail. Then she turns to me and speaks.
You're a dumbass.
Oh! Have we reached the point where Mariah is going to be completely right about fucking everything? I pause.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Mariah launches herself at me. I wince as her breath streaks out. The smell was bad before, but now it's like she rinsed her mouth with
God,
whiskey.
you piss me off.
Thank you! A growl emerges from deep within her throat as she looks me over. Then, as if acting on simple instinctive desire, she delivers a stiff smack to the back of my head. For a split second, everything is a fuzzy white. The infuriating image of a snarling Mariah greets me as my vision fades back, partnered with even more infuriating throbbing.
Ow! What the hell? Why are you hitting me?
Because
I
you
just
deserve
spilled
it.
my guts to your jerk ass.
Shut up. I'm talking now.
Thank you. Mariah stumbles off the couch, gripping the table for support. Her face has darkened by several shades of red since I've gotten here.
Listen here, thief. Dead is dead is dead.
Okay, we're
Your
starting off
dear
bad.
old granddad ain't crying up in heaven because you decided to do some bride in the back of his RV.
Her words burn right to my fiery core. I can't believe I ever thought I could count on Mariah.
Where'd you even get off saying?
I said shut up. Get over your snooze fest of a sob story. You got the girl and you got my treasure. But no, you can't be happy because of some stupid phony sense of obligation.
Yes!
And that's another thing.
Her voice gets louder as her words get sloppier, slipping and sliding over each other. I couldn't get a word in, even if I tried. All I can do is listen, stone-faced, as the lashings keep on coming.
Who the hell do you think you are? What gives you the right to be some self-righteous guardian?
Fuck yeah!
You don't look after people because you have to prove yourself. You do it because...
Because you want to. Because you love them. She stops and scratches her head. I lean in, my breath frozen by anticipation as she tries to decode her own
Because
logic.
you just do. Okay?
I can actually respect that logic.
I swear, that annoying complex of yours is gonna smother you and everyone else.
Yes, it will. Mariah grabs another bottle and swings it straight down on the sharp corner of the table. The cat somersaults through the air. By the time it lands, she's already chugged most of it. Dark Horse, good to see you, friend. Hope you're doing well.
But I used her.
Arguably? That's right, obligations, second chances, complexes, none of that means anything, because it's all said and done. I use Marina to make myself happy. Yeah, that's what a relationship is. No worries, things happen, stuff happens. You're here now and we're happy to have ya. Grab a seat and get comfy.
You call that using? Give me a break. I use those slackers all the time. That's using.
Yes, it is.
And you know what? Who cares? That did use you to find the treasure, didn't she?
Yeah, not really think I put it that way.
Hell, if anything, you probably don't use her enough. I'd feel like a real jackass if some dumbass were calling me all the time and all I could do was sit there.
Yeah?
People use people all the time. That's what makes them family.
Doomsday Clock, Dr. Manhattan Story after Watchmen? Oh, God, it slipped my mind. I'm sorry. I think I might have, but then I do not remember it. I am bad at memory right now. There we go. But I have it pulled up. It's in my list of bookmarks, so I must have read it, but I do not remember it. Alright. Mariah takes one last swig of her beer, then with a glint of sadness in her eyes, stares into the empty bottle.
So if you're gonna hate yourself, find a reason that doesn't suck.
Fair enough. Her face smirks from red to sickly green. The bottle falls from her hand and onto the floor as she rocks side to side, like a sailor that's lost their sea legs.
Hey, you don't look so good.
For a quick moment, Mariah's cheeks blowed out, and then just as quickly she swallows.
I'm fine. It's just need to drink it off.
No, if you keep drinking, you will die, Mariah. She wobbles back to the couch and collapses next to me. Neither of us speak. Mariah groans, holding her stomach as she feels around for a bottle opener. I look at the pile of empty bottles building up on the table.
What happened to not caring?
I don't. I just prefer my treasure not being in the filthy hands of an idiot.
Agreed. Did it just get chewed out by Mariah and deserve it completely? Even worse, did some of it actually make sense, or is it just the booze? Unable to spare the energy to lean forward, she stretches her arm way out for another beer, but I catch it just in time and grab a hold of her hand.
You need to quit! You've had way too much!
Eat me!
No. She slaps my hand away and snags 2 more beers, shoving one of them into my stomach.
You're an idiot, but whether or not you want to keep being one is up to you.
I don't know. I need to think about it.
You need to go apologize to Marina. And if she doesn't, just because you are obligated to apologize to her, you need to remember that she is not obligated to accept that apology.
Dumbass.
Nothing she says burns anymore. Now it only stings with the acidity of truth. Getting over it, letting Marina in, really letting her in. It's just not that easy. It's never been that easy. But if I don't... Putting my hand on my thigh, I squeeze the outline of the cassette. Mariah raises out her beer and grunts. Sighing, I raise up mine and we clank them together.
Jerk-ass.
Massaging the drunk away, I nurse my head as it pounds in rhythm with my heartbeat. The table has become a stockpile of empty promises, broken dreams, foundation beneath even emptier bottles. Mariah is still at my side, slumped over and passed out. She might be a super heavyweight, but I decided to stick around and keep an eye on her. Soon Joe and Tess will be back and they can take care of the rest. I watch the slight movement in her chest as she breathes in and out. Seeing her so quiet is eerie. It's hard to believe there's still a person underneath all that yelling and obsessiveness, but there she is. People use other people still all the time. That's what makes them family. It sounds gross and awful, but those words have been echoing inside me since she said them. I used Marina to cope, there's no denying that. But Mariah said that Marina used me to find the treasure. If that's true, then why don't I feel used? Why do I always feel genuinely wanted by her? Because there's a difference between being used and being a part of something with someone. She relied on me. Is that using? That's all I've ever wanted her to feel like she could do. Her trust was the most important thing to me. But no matter how much I wanted it, I knew I didn't deserve it, because I felt I was betraying Gramps and would just drag her down with me. What about her, though? Marina was furious when I left, but she wanted to understand. She wanted to fucking help. I wanted her to rely on me, but maybe she wanted me to rely on her, too. Bingo! Fucking realization, Amber. Reaching into my pocket, I pull out the cassette. Hold it in the palm of my hand. The sight of the ribbon all torn and tangled doesn't choke me or ignite me in a bitter explosion of anger like earlier. All it does is serve as a numbing reminder of all my regrets. Her wording was off, but Mariah was right. I never let myself rely on Marina. From the very start, I always treated her like a kid, and never as an equal. No wonder she got upset. She wanted to do as much for me as I was doing for her, but I would never let her in long enough for that to happen. Of course she would say no if I made a move. It was the only opportunity she had. If I go back as I am now, things will never get better. I'll just keep treating Marina like a kid, never letting her in, and she'll just smile and bear it until she explodes, like earlier. I know what I have to do, and yet it feels more like a betrayal thing than anything else I've ever done this far. But if I don't do it, I'll never truly hope to do right by Marina. I staggered to my feet. Turning around, I just take one last look at Mariah before deciding to take off her bandana and lay it out by her side.
In another life, maybe you would be my type.
Then I walk to the door, take a breath, and step outside. The night sky is deep and clear, embedded with a rich blue draped behind the glow of the constellations. Its light is all that guides me as I sludge my way through the thickness of the sand, wandering from Mariah's RV, a destination of nowhere. Finally, I've gone far enough when the haze of city lights can't be seen, where the distance of the motorhome can't be gauged. I'm alone for the first time, truly alone. Free from the treasure, free from the festival, free from my responsibility, free from even Marina. Sitting down, I sink into the stand and look at the stars.
Remember that time in Wyoming? When we camped out on the Great Plains? The whole sleeping under the stars thing seemed like the coolest idea ever to little me. You were so excited to teach me about the constellations. Didn't matter that you sucked at astronomy, you just kept mislabeling them. I made sure to read up on them later, by the way. That was the Big Dipper, not Hal's guitar. But that's okay. I still got a kick out of it. Besides, that's not the type of thing I expected to learn from you anyway. What I really remember from that trip was the s'mores. Pretty sure you only liked them burned because you were so old. Really stuck with me, though. Can't have s'mores any other way now. I think I may have converted someone else to the burn side, too. She has a huge sweet tooth, though, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Still, it made me really happy when she said she liked it.
I stare down and pet the cassette, feeling my thumbs over its holes and brown blotches and stains.
I think you'd like her a lot. She's a sweetheart. Always cheery and nice, even when she really shouldn't. Don't know how she does it, but she can somehow deal with me and my moods. This is her first time ever leaving home, and it shows. I worry about her a lot. Kinda like how I worried about you. Kinda like how I still do.
Amber, he was the adult. It's not your fault, kiddo. A tear drops onto the cassette. I don't even notice it trail down my cheek or the rest.
Maybe I got attached too easily and really did use her. But I don't want to leave. I love her so much. And I want to prove I'm worth loving too.
Well, then maybe you should let people in. I don't think they'd hate you, Amber. I think what people are is maybe a little bit angry and frustrated with you right now, because that's how I feel, and a little disappointed in you. And honestly, the pain and rage and anger you're feeling, it's a stage of grief. You're not handling it perfectly well. But here's the thing, you can always keep trying, baby.
Would I be letting you down if I decided to be happy instead?
No, not at all. I gaze up at the sky through my blurry vision. The stars don't answer back. They just keep twinkling. I lower my head. The cassette feels like a lifeless dead weight in my palm. My breath shakes and the next words slip out in a whimper.
I'm sorry.
Dig my fingers into the ground, scraping away the sand as sharp grains nudge between my nails. Shallow hole forms, a pile of dirt laying next to it. I can barely stomach looking at the cassette. I lay it down in its grave, against the way as I slide the dirt back over the hole. When I look back, a corner of it still sticks out, only partially buried. It's reaching out, grasping for me. I cover my eyes and pinch away the tears. It's still there. It will always be there. But now I don't have to acknowledge
I'm sorry.
it. It's not your fault, kiddo. You were the kid. He was the adult. And adults, our parents, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, they leave us.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, because you have to pick up and you have to keep going, just like they did when they lost theirs. It's not your fault. How you're reacting to the grief and the pain is your fault. And how you push people away is your fault. Drenched in sweat, I gasp to life and hack the sand out of my mouth. Memories flash from the night before, start flooding back as I choke down a lump in my throat. The desert, the tape, the stars.
Marina!
Yeah, you probably fucked off. She's probably on her way home. My head snaps to the sky. The sun is already a quarter of the way done with its cycle. Soon, if it hasn't already, the taxi will pick Marina up. And I'll never see her again. All because I couldn't let myself trust Marina.
Damn
Don't trust
it!
yourself. I slam my fist down, picking up a pitiful plume of sand. Even if I ran, I'd never make it in time. If only I had the motorhome. Wait.
Mariah!
There's a chance they still might be camped out nearby. Wiping the tears from my eyes, I spring to my feet and sprint in the direction of the motorhome, leaving the half-buried cassette behind me. Please still be there. Please still be there. Sure enough, it's right where it was last night. I run and pound on the door, knocking harder and louder until someone answers. Looking up with wide eyes, Tess opens the door and stares at me.
Tess! Is Mariah here?
Amber?
Hi, Joseph. Joe slinks off the couch and joins Tess at the door.
Sheesh, you're a wreck. Everything okay?
No, fuck no.
Quick! The time!
Huh?
The time! What time is it?
It's gonna be like 11. He looks at the invisible watch on his wrist and switches between all the walls before Tess digs around in her shorts and hands him a chained pocket watch.
10 o'clock, apparently.
He turns to Tess.
When did you start carrying this around?
Probably when she needed to start checking her big sister's pulse.
Why the hell's it so freaking loud?
Bottle comes hurtling towards Joe, but he ducks at the last second, letting it shatter across the wall.
She smashed the last one.
15 minutes. There's still time.
Whoa, slow down a sec. Time for what?
I know this is short notice, but I need a ride.
A ride? Now?
I said shut the hell up!
Another bottle comes flying towards him, but this time Tess hops and snatches it out of the air. He looks across the room, then back to me.
Now's probably not the best time.
Sis's hangovers are lethal.
No! We need to leave now!
Do you not remember what I said I'd do with the jumper cables the next time you...
Nursing her forehead and lifting up another bottle, Mariah stumps over, only to freeze once she sees me. Basically, hangovers are different when you're younger to when you're an adult. When you're a kid, when you're in your 20s, they will either be absolutely brutal and slay you and just basically kill you, leaving you feeling like you want to die. When you're 30, or after your 30s, you start to believe your own bullshit. You start going around like, things are alright, sun is singing, birds are shining, everything's fine, and then you get to the kitchen, and then you just collapse, and it's like, what is happening? Your hangover kicks you, it's like, what am I allowed to do today? Crying, mostly.
Mariah, I need a ride. Please, you were right. I made a big mistake, and if I'm not back at our hotel in 15, I'll never see Marina again.
Yeah, probably. That's your fault. That is your fault. And you have an obligation to apologize to her. That doesn't mean that she has an obligation to accept your apology. The motorhome falls silent, all eyes on Mariah. Her face is blank, unreadable, compared to all the crazy-looking scowls she usually wears. Finally, she speaks.
All right, let her in.
I'm really sorry, but you know how she... Wait, for real?
Mariah closes her eyes and takes a deep, long breath.
Before I change my mind...
Joe and Tess shoot each other surprised glances, then shrug.
Well, what do you know? Miracles actually do happen.
The desert heat has thawed her icy heart.
Yeah, just shut up and get ready.
I hop in, the other two scurry around and batten down hatches, strapping shut all the cupboards and shelves. Grabbing her bandana, Mariah ties it around her head, while I shuffle around and try to spit out a thank you.
So, I should probably...
We're all set. I'll take the wheel.
Joe rushes past us with the keys, but Mariah trips him and snags them
No
from
way!
his hand.
You drive like an old man. I'll drive.
You're hungover.
No, I drive like a normal person. You just happen to drive like a maniac. Besides, you're hungover.
It'll be fine. Come on.
They both dart over the front seats and the RV roars to life.
Tess, hair of the dog.
No, that's not legal at all. Tess nods and runs to the fridge, grabbing a bottle that looks like the ones from last night, except this one has a picture of the devil on it. She tosses it over to her sister, who showcases the same catching talent as
Now
her.
that's what I'm talking about.
Slamming the bottle in the cup holder, Mariah sticks her head out of the window and backs up the motorhome. Joe shakes his head, replacing the devil's brew with a nearby water bottle while she
You're
isn't
going to
looking.
need to hang on tight, by the way.
Huh? Why?
My question's immediately answered as I'm flung across the couch. Tessa's small frame crashes into me.
It doesn't hurt as much if you relax your muscles.
Go limp! RV speeds forward. The license plate wind chime dings in chaotic disunion as the bottles and cans roll across the floor, clanging together wherever they meet. Even the table is seesawing back and forth. I look out the window. Mariah flies onto the road, cutting off an entire lane of cars. The RV hits the ground and bounces. I manage to keep my head from bashing the cloud above me, but Tess lets herself get tossed around, rolling across the floor with the trash.
So where exactly am I going?
The hotel downtown. You'd have to be stupid to miss it.
Remember who you're talking to here.
Hotel? You didn't spend any of my treasure on that, did you?
Mariah glances at me, oblivious to everything on the other side of the windshield.
I might have used a nugget to bribe the manager.
What? I'll kill you!
Save the cat fight for later. There are more important things to focus on right now, like the road.
The road
Fair.
will always be there, Joe. My treasure won't!
Treasure or our lives?
I think everyone here already knows the answer to that one.
I had Tess do the math. The treasure's worth more than any of you. Watch out!
A big rig comes speeding towards us, blasting a deafening horn. At the last second, Mariah swerves back into her lane as the truck bellows past us. The motorhome hits a bump and bounces up again. Unprepared, poor Joe's head hits the ceiling, knocking light from his eyes. If I squint hard enough, I can see his soul drifting away from his body.
Sis, I think Joey's dead.
About damn time! He was getting annoying!
Tess salutes her fallen comrade. It's always the sane ones who die first. We zoom back to town's welcoming center. It's not far at all now.
Tess, what time is it?
10:12.
I grit my teeth and glare out the window. Please still be there. Downtown comes into view. The strip of familiar stores and restaurants start forming. Mariah races down the street, ignoring all traffic lights and pedestrians, as people leap out of the way and cars break into other lanes.
We're almost there. Get ready!
The hotel looms just up ahead. Through the windshield, I can see Marina holding onto a small suitcase as she prepares to step in the cab. I leap to the door and swing it open. Wind rushes through my hair. The motorhome is slowing down, but I don't care.
What the hell are you doing?
I launch myself onto the street, tumbling across the burning concrete as the road tears across my skin. Immediately, I spring back up and dart towards Marina. Maria screeches to a halt in the middle of the street, blocking anyone from driving through. The three of them hop out, Joe clutching his head as he stumbles out the door.
Amber?
Yeah! Before she can get another word, I grab her waist and throw her lips against hers. She pulls herself away and glares at me through puffy red eyes. I put my hands on her shoulders to stay myself as tears stream down my face.
Sorry! I'm so sorry!
You need to actually talk to her. Marina freezes, and she slowly softens from a glare to a strain. A Kenja lump building in her throat, too.
I thought you weren't coming back.
Yep.
I know, I was such a bitch.
Yeah, very much
I
so.
didn't mean any of it. I love you so much. I just didn't want to hurt you.
So you hurt her a lot. You hurt her a lot because you didn't want to hurt her.
How could you ever hurt me?
She did, last night.
I was scared.
Tears don't stop. The crying
I
gets
was
louder.
afraid I was using you because I didn't have grips anymore. I lost my family. I always wanted to help you, but I think I might be the one who really needs help.
Marina can't hold it back anymore and starts bawling in my arms, hugging me as tight as she possibly can.
Dummy, I'm your new family. I don't care if you use me. I love you.
I love you too.
This time we both move in for the kiss, two blubbering idiots trying to prove just how much the other means. I'm not sure if it's her tears I'm tasting or mine, but I can still make out the soft sweetness of her lips, regardless. It's funny, this entire time I thought I was the nucleus of it all. That I was the one helping her, or using her. But as cheesy as it sounds, I think Marina has always been the one helping me, from the very beginning. Through the kissing, I catch a glimpse of the trio, Joe covering Tessa's eyes as he slips Mariah a bill. We manage to compose ourselves enough to pull each other away, but we never let go of each other's hands. Rolling her eyes, Mariah unties her bandana and tosses it to me.
You both look disgusting. Here.
Thanks.
I wipe away as many of my tears as I can before passing it along to Marina, who blows into it like a trumpet. She sniffs, her nose red and tears still leaking out, then hands the drenched cloth back to Mariah, who gives it to Joe. He cringes as he dangles from his fingers.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thanks to you three. I mean it. Especially you, Mariah.
Donc quoi? I mean, she did have Mariah to kick her ass, which kind of helps.
Whatever. That doesn't make us cool or anything. I still despise you.
It's true.
Yeah, she hates your guts.
God damn it.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Marina giggles and I bring her in closer. Then suddenly, I remember something.
Oh!
I bend over and dig through Marina's suitcase, bringing out a single gold nugget and passing it to Mariah.
Figured yours was getting lonely.
Mariah stares at her hand, the other two gathering around her.
How about that? You ended up getting the treasure after all, Mariah.
It seems bigger than the one we have.
Finally defeated, Mariah looks up and sighs.
I guess we can probably pawn it off somewhere.
She walks back to her motorhome, waving the other two.
Come on, let's go.
Well, see you two ladies down the road.
God, I hope not.
Ha! Tess looks back and forth, then scurries over to Marina and gives her a quick hug around the waist before following the other two.
Bye.
And with that, they speed off, leaving a trail of property damage behind them as they beat their loud-ass horn into the distance. Marina and I are left alone, the cab long gone. Because he probably fled, like as I would. Between small spurts of laughter, we thumb each other's tears. Just happy to be together again.
Hey, let's go pick up the motorhome.
Yeah,
She sniffs one last time.
I'd like that.
Fading light from the sunset wakes me up. After reuniting, the first thing Marina and I did was take a nap. We slept in the same bed, both of us too tired to do anything more than gaze into the other's eyes as we drifted off. Now, hours later, we're still in the same spot. One of Marina's hands clings to my shirt while she passed up against my side. Her breath, shallow and steady, is warm against my neck. I feel like I could stay here all day, or for a week, a year, whatever, just enjoying her closeness. Marina sighs in her sleep, shifting a little, but not moving too far away. I watch her, a small smile dancing on my lips. Now, no way we're going to be able to sleep tonight after taking naps this late. We can probably head out and get to the festival quite a bit early. Beat the lines to get in, and maybe end up closer to the stage. I'll see how she feels when she gets up. Gently, I extract myself from her grip and climb out of bed. To kill some time, I wander to the back to take stock of our supplies. Running low on bottled water, and could use some more snacks. Healthy kind, not the Marina selected tooth-rotting kind. Also, we need to stop by a laundromat sometime soon. Hell, we should probably go to a clothing store and pick up a few more changes of clothes for Marina, since we're going to be sticking together and all. That thought makes me smile. So happy that I couldn't even stop myself even if I wanted to. I don't have to be lonely anymore. I can make those plans for two. When I walk back to the bed, still being careful not to disturb Marina, I notice something weird. It's gotten brighter outside. No way. Dawns on me, quite literally. We didn't just sleep through the day. We slept all the way through the night and into the next
Marina!
morning. I shout her name as I lunge against the bed to shake her shoulder. Despite my friends as she opens her eyes lazily.
Amber? What's wrong?
We slept way too late. We've got to get going fast. The festival's starting in just a few hours.
Marina pats my head like I'm a naive
Amber,
kid.
it's okay. It's not until tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. We slept all night.
Now her eyes get a bit bigger, and right on time the sunlight falls across her face.
Yeah.
I move back, letting her sit up.
We've got to go, or we'll be standing in line all day.
She smooshes her fists into her eyes and rolls out of the bed.
I'm up. Can you make some coffee, please?
No prob.
Gonna get ready.
I nod. Marina zombie shuffles off to the bathroom to brush her teeth and fix her hair. I set about preparing. Soon the warm smell of brewing coffee fills the air, as does the sound of running water. Both Marina and the coffee finish around the same time. Marina skips over to where I am and leans into my shoulder while I wrap around an arm
Sorry,
around her.
I shouldn't hold us up, huh?
Nah, this is okay.
Just for a moment. Then I pull away and grab a pair of mugs, passing one to Marina. I fill mine up with steaming black coffee, then hand her the creamer and sugar. But Marina shakes her
I'll
head.
try it how you drink it.
Eyebrows raised, I pour her a cup.
You sure? It's a super acquired taste.
Marina takes a sip and scrunches up her face in disgust.
It's good.
Uh-huh.
No, really?
She chokes on her next sip.
You don't have to drink it black just because I do, you know?
You said it's an acquired taste, though, right? So I want to acquire that taste.
Right.
Take your time. By the time I finish my first cup, she's only had a quarter of hers. She gets halfway through before she gives up and dumps in some sugar.
I'll acquire it later.
Of course.
While she preps her coffee, I go over to the cabinet where we stash the gold. Aside from those, there's only one other small, brightly decorated box. Take it out and set it on the counter. Marina instantly hops over.
Ooh, what's that?
Inside are 2 wristbands made of soft fabric. They're our entrance passes to the festival. Pass one to Marina. Hers. Gramps. The tenderness with which she takes it reminds me of when she first held the gold. Like if it fell, it would break.
Make sure you don't lose it, or you'll have to wait in the RV while I go watch.
You wouldn't.
I think about it for a second. Then I answer truthfully.
Okay, you're right. But still.
There's a little tag that hangs off the wristband. Marina pulls it to tighten it. Then she leans over and kisses my cheek.
I won't.
I slide mine on and tighten it as well, putting the box back in its safe spot. There's a lump in my throat over how it was supposed to be me and Gramps who went. Marina touches my hand and she smiles. I smile back. This is just as good, though. I swallow my sadness before I can take over and lead my way to the front of the RV.
You ready?
Hell yeah!
Let's get this show on the road then.
The motorhome grumbles as I turn the key, but the engine catches. I watch a second to see if it's going to die, but it doesn't. The whole thing shakes a little more than I'm used to. Slowly, I navigate out of the parking lot, back into the main streets. It may be early, but there are lots of people out and about. Traffic is thick, with lots of people probably going to Coachella.
See, this is why I wanted to leave early. It's normally only a half-hour drive, but this is crazy.
Think we're all going to the same place?
Maybe.
Yeah.
At least a few.
Marina laughs.
What?
I just think it's kind of funny that this has happened the whole time, with the treasure and stuff. Everywhere we go, it's like traffic jam after traffic jam.
Yeah, you're right. Should be better after this, though.
Yeah, it will be.
It will be. We creep along until we reach a totaled car. Doesn't look like anyone was hurt, but it's the reason traffic is slow. Once we get past it, I can finally openly accelerate. The new and improved engine pulls its weight. Everything is much smoother and quieter. Soon the city of Indio comes into view, super close to California and Arizona border. Coachella is held just a few miles east of town. As we get closer and closer, our anticipation builds. It's easy to read Marina, since she's bouncing and fidgeting in her seat. I'm more composed, but I feel it too. We glance at each other at the exact same time and grin. We've been doing that a lot lately. At least the huge line of trees that border the festival grounds stands just ahead. I take the exit and join in another long line of cars heading for the parking area and campground. Guests carrying coolers, chairs, and camping supplies around the edges of the unpaved roads, making us slow down. Finally, we find a spot and I kill the engine. Marina looks at me, waiting for me to say something. But I'm all out of cheesy speeches, so I just grab her hand and we both stand up.
Let's go.
The air seems to crackle with electric anticipation. It's on people's faces and in the way that they move, the energy, like a wave that flows over them. We all share a feeling of excitement and of unity. Every single person here has been waiting for months for this day to arrive. And it's finally here. High tents and portable stages dominate the space around us. Between those and the trees, and most of all the noise, you'd never guess there's a city and a highway just a couple miles away. Drum beats and muted chords float by as musicians do last-minute sound checks. They're barely audible over the sound of thousands of chattering voices. Folks of all different shapes and sizes and colors mill around us. It's like social boundaries have been eroded, I think. There's a sentiment Gramps would like. Idly, I use my thumb to trace a heart into Marina's palm. She squeezes back, probably unaware of what the shape was, but understanding all the same.
So, where do we go now?
Now we go stand in line while they check wristbands and let people onto the grounds. It's gonna be a while.
One more traffic jam, huh?
Damn right.
That's right. One more.
Even if I hadn't been mapping the grounds in my head, it'd be impossible to get lost. Bored-looking staff were positioned every few yards, holding signs with arrows and directions. Like molasses, the throng of people that we've joined oozes down the trail. We all hold each other back, the sheer numbers making for slow going. Nearly 100,000 people attend each year.
What time does the show start?
First bands are at like 11, but the ones we want to see are later in the evening.
What time is it now?
I use my free hand to shield my eyes as I stare up at the sky.
Maybe 10:30?
You didn't seriously just use the sun to tell time, did you?
You can actually do that. If you look specifically, I think it's west, and you hold your hand up, kind of like just straight, you can tell how many hand movement, you can use your other hand to kind of measure how many hand movements away to one side it is from 12. Each hand is roughly an hour.
What, you can't?
Not all of us were born in the wilderness, Amber.
You were born in
neither was
Carlsbad.
I. just raised in it. Besides, I checked the time before we got out.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I'll have to show you how to use a sundial sometime, though. It's pretty handy if you're ever lost in the woods somewhere.
Right, because knowing the time would definitely be what I'm thinking about then.
A sundial can also be used as a compass.
You should be. You'll want to know how long before it gets dark and cold so you can find shelter.
I'll just ask you to do that.
What if I'm not with you?
Why wouldn't you be?
I kiss her right then and there. After the past few days, I was a little worried that things would be awkward. Silences and trailing off sentences. But now, it's like we never thought, never argued. Like I never blew up her. No, it's because that happened. Because you allowed yourself that raw emotion. You allowed her to see your raw emotion. You brought down your shields and let her see you. And she let you see her. You two now have broken down a little bit of the awkwardness. That might be my favorite thing about Marina. There's a growing list of those. She really thinks I can do no wrong. I don't know what I did to deserve her, or even if I do, but I'm pretty damn happy with how it all turned out. The line speeds up once we actually hit the festival entrance and are rushed through the grate. A pair of attendants pat us down since we're not carrying any drugs or weapons. We're waved on through. Passing underneath a broad opening display, we're officially arrived. Marina spins towards me, bouncing on her heels.
We made it!
Hell yeah, we did.
It's been a long journey. I think of everything we've done and all the places we've been, the people we've met, and how all those led to this. I smile as I reach for her hand yet again, meeting it halfway since she went for mine too.
Food?
Food.
I'm identifying more and more with her character as we go. I haven't had a good meal in over a day now that I think about it. Once I do, I can't stop thinking about it. I lead the way to the food court, which is just a bunch of trucks and tents arranged in an aisle. Everything for sale is greasy but delicious. It's the kind of food that'll stop your heart but heal your soul. We pause at the closest truck and read its menu.
Amber?
Marina.
Is that like a typo or something? It says they have deep fried candy bars.
Oh, you're about to have a treat.
Nah, those are really popular at fairs and festivals.
She gives me the I know you're making this up look that she's perfected.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm actually dead serious. Candy bars, pickles, snack cakes. You can get almost anything deep fried at places like this.
So, you know those Uncrustables peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? One of my coworkers, one of my cooks, made me one of those deep fried. She basically just took it out and went, I'm going to deep fry this. And then she got a bunch of jelly for me and made it into a dipping sauce. Because basically what you want to do is befriend the cooks. They will do crazy things. It was also covered in cinnamon and I was very happy.
Ever had one?
No way. That's too much, even for me.
The thought alone makes me kind of queasy. So much grease.
Order up.
To highlight my point, the guy running the fryer pulls out a crispy-looking blob. It's impossible to tell what it is because of the batter. After wiping off some of the oil, which doesn't seem to change much, he wraps it in wax paper and hands it to the person waiting by the window. Bites into it with a look of pleasure, though I still can't tell what he's eaten.
Want something?
Vaguely green, Marina shakes her head.
Pass.
Not much further down the line, we find a regular pizza stand and order a couple of slices. We stand a little out of the way while we eat, trying to keep the toppings from all sliding down onto our rapidly deteriorating plates. When we're done, I drag a napkin across my face. It comes away orange with grease.
Missed a spot.
She leans over and wipes dry a spot above my upper lip, then kisses it.
Wait. Show me where again?
This time she doesn't dab before leaning in to kiss me. I can taste the pizza on her breath. Or maybe it's mine. We part again, we're both smiling.
You should check the sun. What time is it?
I make a big show of looking at the sky, then back down and pretending to think hard.
I'd say it's time for us to get a watch.
That is literally a joke that my dad makes. His dad probably said it, and it was probably old then. No. Just no.
Ouch, tough crowd. I'm hurt. Really, though. It's probably a little bit past noon. We've still got a long time.
Wanna go check out some of the other bands?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I pull out the schedule we got by the entrance and pass it to her.
I don't really know any of these groups. Let me know if there's someone you want to see.
Marina skims over the list of names before she squeals.
Oh my god, yes! Them! I want to see them!
She points out someone who is about to set up on the main stage.
Alright, that should be this way.
Literally bouncing with excitement, I lead her through the crowds.
What kind of music are they?
I have to shout now because the music is much louder over here. Marina presses close to me and
They're
responds.
rappers. 2 of them. Their new album got super popular. And they're even doing this version of it where all of the instruments are cats.
Are you talking about Run the Jewels? Are you a Run the Jewels fan? Because if you are, I'm going to be really shocked.
Right.
I'm not really into rap, but whatever. It's not like we've got anywhere else to be yet, and I'm pretty sure Marina still isn't super into weird old people jam bands. We get to the stage just as the set ends, because there are a lot of people leaving. It's a bit like swimming upstream. We managed to make it close to the stage.
How are you liking it so far?
Which part?
All of it.
It's kind of crazy, but it's fun. I like seeing all the different people.
Yeah, you get all types.
I'm going to have to put on Meow the Jewels onto my Discord later tonight. Bass booms from a speaker close to us. It's just playing a pre-recorded melody, but Marina sings along to a few of the songs. A little while later, the 2 rappers come on stage and everyone cheers. I turn around, surprised at how big the crowd's gotten again. I mean, if it's Killer Mike and LP, then I wouldn't blame them, because they kind of can rock. When I look back at Marina, she's not paying attention to me, just grinning up on stage. 30 minutes later, the pair leaves the stage to thunderous applause and cheers. Even I clap for them. They were pretty
How'd you
good.
like it?
They were so good. So good. Whoa. If I'd known they were playing today, I'd have been even more excited for this. They're one of my favorite bands in the world.
Did you just not look at the lineup or something?
I guess not. I kind of thought all of the bands would be like what you listen to.
I bust out laughing.
I don't think they could sell out a festival like that. Not to this many people, at least.
Fair enough.
But it's fine. I like getting to hear new stuff, too.
That's how we spend the next few hours, going from stage to stage to watch bands I've never heard of. Sometimes they're groups Marina likes, sometimes they just have a weird name. Around the time the sun starts to go down, we head back to the East Stage, where we'll see our last show of the day. Marina's in the lead this time. We've gone past the stages so many times that we have a good feel for how to get around. We find a spot on a little grassy slope and sit down.
Are you sure? Won't it be hard to see?
Nah, we've got a good view from here. And it seems like it'll be a small crowd.
Of course, small still means thousands of people here. It's just small compared to some of the other acts. Marina bumps my shoulder.
Excited?
Very.
Bit of an understatement.
Up on stage, there are banners and a giant cloth backdrop that hang from a bar. They've decorated with a familiar black logo that I could draw in my sleep. The breeze causes to shake and sway like I'm as excited as I am. We're pretty severe outliers when it comes to the average age of this crowd. The rows of people in front of us are represented by a smattering of bald spots and bandanas. I'm about to make a joke of it to Marina when the band comes on stage, and any words are lost in the deafening roar of applause. Besides me, Marina's voice joins the thousands whooping and yelling. Usually I'm way too self-conscious for this sort of thing, but what the hell, I cheer too. With just a wave and not a word of introduction, they launch into the first song. It was the opening track on their second album, Back Before I Was Born. They've been playing this one longer than I've been alive. It's a great song, though. They're all great songs. The whole set is magical. They go from one song to another without stopping in between. If you don't know the music, you probably think it was all just one super long track. Even though it spans a few decades worth of albums, everything flows seamlessly, like it was meant to be heard this way. At some point, I close my eyes, though I don't notice myself doing it. I'm lost, but in a good way, with Marina beside me, gently swaying. There's not a single sad thought in my head. For 40 minutes, everything in the world seems right. I marvel at the odds that my life could turn around entirely in such a short amount of time. Countless cups of coffee, gas stations, snack packs, 3 boxes of gold, 5 states, 3 weeks of dusty desert roads. That's what it took to get us here. All that in one faulty fuel gauge. I open my eyes and look at Marina. To my surprise, she's looking right back at me. She scoots a little bit closer and leans against me, her head on my shoulder. I put my head on hers, and together we rock in time to the music. Then it stops. Everyone cheers again, and the frontman holds up a finger. It's the first break there's been in the whole set.
One more song.
Then he plays those guitar strums I had come to know so well, the ones that I was both dreading and looking forward to the most. It's the most familiar intro to the world to me. Of course, it's their swan song. Gramps and my favorite. I can feel Marina's worried gaze wandering around like I'm about to break down and cry. But this time, I meet her look and I smile as I press my lips against hers. I'm with the girl I love, seeing my favorite band live, as I perform my favorite song. What's not to smile about? Somewhere I hope that Gramps is smiling too. If there's an afterlife, I hope they get free tickets to the festival. A single, bittersweet tear leaks out of my eye, rolling down my face and onto her lips. Picture Gramps here beside me, not replacing Marina. I would hope! But with us, I know we'd have liked her. As the song comes to an end, I mouth just one word. Goodbye. But then it's over. I feel something change. Not a physical motion, but an emotional one. Something new. Something deep inside me feels right. The band bows. People are screaming their affections. It's over. We saw them. They performed. It's over. Besides me, Marina shifts to look at me with a coy look on her face.
Amber,
Yeah?
I think I know what I want to do with the treasure now.
We both lean in, for once knowing exactly what the other was thinking.
I think I do too. So where to next?
Sprinklers, sparklers, holy water, startlers, protect me from the mountain beast that haunts Sierra dreams. Tall trees dead.
Well, we finally beaten the game. Took us 3 visual novel Fridays. Oh my. 3 visual novel Fridays. And now I can finally finish my coffee. It's ice cold. Just a gulp left. Writing Science and Terra. I love how the art style, like, it kind of is a little bit weird how the art style keeps shifting in some of these. Oh wow, that's kind of cool concept art. Almost not. It's past 9. I'm gonna need to grab something to eat as soon as we finish up these credits.
It's a good thing we were able to get tickets from that scalper.
Oh goddamn! It's these
worried.
3 assholes.
All that glitters is not gold,
1. Yeah.
except the gold. The gold always glitters.
Ha!
You know, I've been hearing talk about a government caravan that disappeared somewhere in Texas. Was apparently transporting a ton of cash.
Oh.
It's the weirdest thing, though. No one can seem to find it.
Really?
What? And you're only telling me this now? You really are a slacker, aren't you?
A little bit.
Come on, bozos. We've got some serious work to do. Every second counts.
There's some Mariah we know. Studio Coattails. Thanks for completing Highway Blossoms. If you want to read through Amber and Marina's story again, you now have the option to turn on Goofball mode for a crazier take on the story. If you want to change this, Goofball mode now appears in an option in the preferences and the newly unlocked Extras menu. Okay. Extras. We may do the extras one of these days, but I don't think it's going to be for a minute. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find a different game for Visual Novel Friday moving forward. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to rate out. So I had a lot of fun with this game. It was kind of entertaining. We may check out Extras mode at some point. But if I do, I shall go ahead and throw that up on the YouTubes as well for people who might miss it. Because I'll probably end up doing it some late Wednesday night or something. So, anyways, for the YouTube people, I hope you have a lovely rest of your night, and I will see you upon the laters. For the Twitch people, you're going to stick around for a bit, and then we're going to raid out. So let's rock and roll.